And it is all we do. 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Well, it's a Joe show. We've seen it. Nobody wants to be there. It's a big bad show tonight. Just can't take this damn parade. Who cares? Joe show. There's a 2-mile wait to get past the damn green line.
Anyone who gets scared by a bear in the neighborhood, call Joe Murray.
I happen to trust Joe Murray.
First time I ever met Joe Murray was at a Hooters.
I just had a very weird and delightful experience, I must say. Skaz, this has never happened to me before in my life. I actually need to go find the YouTube stream from last night's program. Hey, you can find the program on YouTube. If you didn't know, Joe will often hop in the chat, as will I. I'd be more than happy to chat with you and engage with you there. But no, I need to go find the video from last night's show. I'm going to go to the 98.5 The Sports Hub page, go to the live channel. Now I have an ad that comes up. I'm going to watch the ad for a second. It's our friends at Jeep with their I Can event. I know they're sponsors here, so I'll happily mention that. But no, a strange experience in the sense that Jimmy Stewart asked me what I was wearing yesterday. And he said, you know what? You look good. I'd like to buy one of those shirts. Trust me when I say I got into radio for a reason. This has never happened to me before in my life. I look like a schmuck all the time. That's the beauty of radio. Now I'm doing TV and this Nesson thing, and I'm hanging out with Ness and Joe over there. I was just with Joe an hour ago. I can report that he's alive and well. I know for the night show listeners, you might be wondering where Joe is again. He's getting moved around. It's that time of year. But no, okay, it was the shirt that I thought it was. So I sent him the information. There you go. Jimmy Stewart's going to come in looking snazzy next week. All because he's been influenced by me. I am an influencer. You know what? Kendra Middleton hosted the show, I believe, on Wednesday. I think she had no idea that she was about to make way for the real fashionista and the real fashion influencer. It's me, Matt McCarthy. Hi, how you doing? 617-779-0985. We're going all the way until 11 o'clock tonight. What are we going to talk about? Who's to say? Will we figure it out along the way? Damn right we will. And if we don't, well, we'll just turn off the transmitter and go home and call it a night. I really don't care. We'll make it happen. I do know what we're doing at 8:30, though. And I'm very excited about this. We are being joined by a legend tonight. An undeniable legend, Derek Ray, who, if you're a soccer fan, you know the name Derek Ray. If you've ever played FIFA or now EAFC, you know the voice, Derek Ray. He is the voice of the FIFA video games. He's the voice of the Bundesliga. He's the voice of World Cup soccer. He's on Fox, calling some great World Cup action. Actually, stumbled across this tonight. He was the original television voice of the New England Revolution. Derek Ray is in town. He was tweeting about being in Salem, and we're happy to have him on the program. We're thrilled. We're going to talk some soccer with the great, the legendary Derek Ray, one of the all-time broadcasters, announcers, play-by-play men in soccer. So we are going international. I'm sure we'll talk about the Tartan Army and their invasion. Derek, of course, Scottish, for those who are unaware of that. So we're just thrilled to have Derek Ray on the program. That'll be at 8:30 tonight. You certainly will not want to miss it. He is one of the best, frankly, if not the best in the business. And that's why he calls World Cup games for Fox. When you got 40, 50 million people tuning in to some of these games, the England game the other night, generating, I think, 46 million, England-Mexico between Fox and Telemundo. U.S. game, they've adjusted the numbers, reached 50 million against Belgium. And imagine if the game had been good. So soccer continues to grow, which I am more than happy to talk about. So we'll get into World Cup later on. We'll do some Jaylen Brown stuff tonight, although admittedly, I'm kind of Jaylen Browned out. What more is there to say besides, yeah, the Celtics really screwed that trade up, huh? It's been a week of that. We'll do a little of it, but I promise you there will be somewhat of a Jaylen Brown reprieve tonight. So we'll start wherever you want at 617-779-0985. I'll start with the Sox, and you take it from there. It's a Friday night, and we'll see how many hours of sports we do. 4 hours, something tells me probably not 4 full hours of sports tonight. But I do want to start with the Red Sox, who had themselves quite an adventure getting to New York today. A getaway game yesterday, which was interesting because they did not get away. Very strange, and I don't know if we've determined whether they were trying to fly out as early as last night out of Chicago or if they tried to fly out this morning. Either way, they landed at LaGuardia at about 4:45 this afternoon, and thankfully LaGuardia is pretty much right next to Citi Field because they're going to play a game tonight. They will not be doing so at the scheduled 7:15 start. They will do it now at 7:50 to give the Red Sox a few hours to get settled in and ready to play a baseball game tonight. But just kind of a wild scene. We were all tracking the flight earlier on to see if the Red Sox actually were going to arrive in New York, and we'll see if this ultimately stifles their momentum at all. To me, I don't think it's really much of an excuse if they lose this game tonight. I don't know. They're big leaguers. They're on a chartered flight. It's a short flight from Chicago. They should be able to go out there and play a baseball game. They're not digging ditches. They're not doing manual labor. They're playing a baseball game. Not going to be too much sympathy for me. But, it's tough on a starting pitcher. I get that. Sonny Gray. So we'll see what Sonny Gray ultimately gives the Red Sox tonight. But I guess the simple question to you is this. Are you buying in? Are you buying in on this Red Sox turnaround? Are you buying in on what you've seen from them in the last 2 weeks? And I'm not here to say no, I'm not buying in. I'm not here to resoundingly dismiss what they've done, but I will say pump the brakes. That's kind of where I'm at. I'm open to the idea. I'm open to it that maybe this is a little bit of a turnaround, but there's still more I need to see before I get back on board. A couple of things. They've done most of this on the road, and the Red Sox have been a much better baseball team on the road this year. Let's see them do it at home. When they come back after the All-Star break, they're at home. I think they've got 10 games against the division, if I'm not mistaken. So let's see the Red Sox do this at home. Let's see them do it against the division. It's one thing to, beat up on the White Sox, who are not a bad team, not a great team, but it's one thing to do it against an AL Central team. It's another thing to do it against an American League East team. They come back home after the All-Star break, 4 against the Rays, 3 against the Orioles, 4 against the Blue Jays. 3 against the Blue Jays. So a 10-game homestand, all against American League East competition. The Red Sox have not been good at home. Let's see what they do there. I've also seen this story before with the Red Sox. Last few years, they played very good baseball going into the break. 10-game winning streak last year. I think they were 10-3 the year before. And they've come out of the break, which is now 4 days in baseball. They've come out of the break not playing good baseball at all. Kills their momentum, whatever you want to call it. So, the question is it just a fluke that they play their best baseball of the year leading into the All-Star break and play some of their worst coming out of it? You would say now you're doing this across multiple managers. Cora a couple years ago, Chad Tracy now. What is is there a common factor to all of this? And I would just say that over the course of 162-game season, and Maz and I were talking about this a little bit last night, teams ebb and flow. And particularly teams that are playing really good baseball sometimes let off the gas a little bit before the break. Sometimes any team lets off the gas before the break. The Red Sox have not done that. Credit to them for doing it. However, one of the reasons the Red Sox are playing better baseball is they're getting contributions from guys who have come up from Worcester. The Nate Eatons of the world, the Anthony Sieglers of the world. Run down half the lineup. It's pretty much the Worcester Red Sox. Patrick Sandoval comes up, has something to prove, pitches for the first time in 2 years or whatever it may be. He's good yesterday. But the Red Sox have new guys in the clubhouse. It's an infusion of new energy, not necessarily new talent, because this talent is lesser than the talent the Red Sox had for the majority of the year. But guys like Siegler have something to prove. They're fighting for their big league lives. And they come into a clubhouse and they inject a little bit of energy, and that is a good time to have it happen before the break. So the Red Sox are probably a little bit more locked in right now than just about everybody else. All right, you take advantage. How sustainable is it? How sustainable is what we've seen for the Red Sox? And I would still argue that a lot of it is unsustainable because I do not believe in this lineup. I'm worried about this weekend series. The Mets are not very good, and we all understand that. The Mets have had a lot of problems, just like the Red Sox this year. The Mets have also fired their manager. The Mets are also underachieving. You're missing your best hitter. And there are so many... Frankly, the Red Sox don't have enough good hitters in the first place, so you miss out on Wilson Contreras this weekend. That's going to cause a problem. The Red Sox have been scoring runs. Contreras starts his suspension yesterday. They score 2 runs. Now, they win that game because they're built to win low-scoring games. If they're built to win anyway, they're built to win low-scoring games. How sustainable is that, though? I mean, Red Sox have had pretty much a good run differential all year long. That's because they don't give up a lot of runs. They don't score a lot of runs, but they don't give up a lot of runs. I think you might see a Red Sox team this weekend that's a little bit closer to the team you saw for 2 months. Just a hunch, just a guess. I think the Contreras thing is big. Hurts them this weekend, no doubt about it. But let's say they take 2 out of 3, go into the All-Star break, you're 4 under. 4 under 500. You're going to be less than, probably about 2.5 games out of the final wild card spot. All right. Maybe I start to pay attention. Maybe I start to say, is this turnaround real? Let me see it, though, after the break. Against the American League East. At home. It's a big thing. That is a massive, massive thing for them. I need to see this at home. But my question to you is this, as we open the phone lines at 617-779-0985. Has this stretch of baseball from the Red Sox made you reevaluate what they should do at the deadline? Very simple. I was a hard sell a few weeks ago. I was a sell in the moment, sell right now. This team is not going anywhere. I have shifted that opinion slightly, and I'll get into that reasoning on the other side. What do you make of it, though? Has this turnaround, or this stretch of baseball, if you don't even want to call it a turnaround yet, you don't think that's too strong a term, I respect that. I hear you on that. Has this stretch of baseball changed how you feel about the trading deadline moving forward? That's where we start tonight, 617-779-0985. It's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way.
States, or in Canada. Let's not forget, we have our friends up north. Toronto actually wouldn't be that bad of a drive. If you had told me the Red Sox were going to make a deal in that moment, I would have said, that's great. Sell, 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 sell. And I still feel that way. I'm still convinced. I've used my eyes on this team. I know the Fangraphs, projections are, and models now predict that they will make the playoffs at a record of 80 and 82. The odds and the percentages, the playoff probabilities now say the Red Sox are making the playoffs. I still don't buy that. I don't know what your math says. Show me your work, though. Show me your formula. I don't buy that. However, even though I still believe that, even though I'm still a huge proponent of selling, I'm now willing to wait it out. 3 weeks ago, I would have set the market. 3 weeks ago, I would have said, no need to wait. Be the first to make a deal. Don't wait for the market to develop. Do a Dave Dombrowski thing. Set the market, just in a different direction. Dave Dombrowski is usually the first to buy. You can be the first to sell. Maybe you'll get 95 cents on the dollar. Maybe you hope that somebody would overpay. The longer you wait, the closer you get to the deadline. I'm not messing around with that. I'm not messing with Craig Breslow screwing up a deadline again the way he did on Joe Ryan last year with the Twins. Not waiting on that. Now I'm willing to wait because, in fairness, I do have to see what happens between now and August 3rd. Remember, it's August 3rd. It's not July 31st. That's an extra 4 days. But believe it or not, 4 days might be the difference between making and missing the playoffs in a very, very bad American League. The worst American League of my lifetime for sure, maybe ever. I'd have to go home and break out my baseball encyclopedia, the 6th edition. Maybe 8th, I'm not sure. Straight out of 1989, but you know what? I can go back and I can find Moonlight Graham and any other detail I need in there. I will find out if there's been a year where the American League has been this bad, because it doesn't feel possible how bad the American League has been. So given that, and given that the Red Sox are playing better baseball, I'm not setting the market at this point. I'm waiting it out. And if you come home after the All-Star break and you do what you've done in recent years, which is play awful crap baseball after the All-Star break, then I'll know. Right now, the target date for me is the end of that 10-game homestand. All against American League East competition, that'll tell me. Because down the stretch, you'll play more division baseball and, you have more teams in the league and, probably teams that you're directly competing with for these, frankly, joke sixth places, in the American League, the third wild card. In the end, baseball's format has become kind of a joke. It has created this scenario where teams that never in the past you would say are playoff worthy can now make the argument, see, we're only 2.5 games out, which, by the way, has been the argument for years now. This has been the Red Sox existence going all the way back to 2022. It's the same damn conversation every single year. Well, I mean, McCarthy, we're only 2 games out. We're only 3 games out. Yeah, you got 5 teams ahead of you, but you're only 2 games out. That's just the nature of the beast. But given they have not totally bottomed out the way it looked like they were about to 3 weeks ago, the way it looked like they were going to before the Yankees rolled in here and you swept them, given that that has not happened, I will acknowledge that they should wait. You don't have to make a decision today. It would be responsible and prudent to wait. My sense would be that by the time that 10-game homestand is over, we'll know that this run was a bit of a fluke and was really the product of going out west and playing the Angels, or catching the Yankees at the perfect time, or going to Chicago and playing what is still a mediocre White Sox team. And listen, the Red Sox have just been on the road. They're way better on the road, and the second they get home, things go to crap. And we'll see that against American League East competition. That is my prediction. That is my sense. And once that's over, we can all reevaluate and say that this was nothing more than a fluke and a mirage and the illusion of contention once again showing up for the Red Sox. But I guess you have to see it out. And that would be the responsible thing for the Red Sox to do. And if there's one man who wants to see it out, it's Craig Breslow. Because he's got something to prove. He needs this team to turn it around. And, as he said, we need to stack wins. We're capable of stacking wins. Well, I guess they've stacked some wins. And there's no man happier than Craig Breslow, because he now gets to go to ownership or, to the people who oversee him, whether that's Theo, if he ever chooses to get involved here, or Sam Kennedy or John Henry, whoever that may be, he gets to go and say, see, I built a pretty good team. I brought in Wilson Contreras. I brought in Sonny Gray. I brought in Ranger Suarez. Even the Caleb Durbin trade isn't bad. It was the kids, the holdovers, the Heim Bloom era prospects who haven't turned into anything. It was their fault. And by the way, I don't think it's exactly a coincidence. And once Marcelo Meyer got out of the lineup, and once obviously Anthony's been out for most of this year, but once a lot of the key figures from early in the season have been phased out due to injury, Meyer, Anthony, Trevor Story, once the key holdovers from the Bloom era, and no doubt Bloom made big bets on all three of those guys. Once they were out of the picture, the Red Sox started winning baseball games. I don't think that's necessarily a coincidence. And if I'm Craig Breslow, I'm pounding the table. I'm saying, I brought the best players on this roster I'm responsible for. And he's right. He is responsible for the best players on this roster. He brought most of them in. Now, that doesn't excuse it away. Listen, just because Bloom drafted Meyer, pretty much called him the second coming of Christ. He basically said he was, baseball Jesus. And it turns out he actually really can't hit a lefty, can't hit a breaking ball. Maybe really doesn't give a damn about the game. But just because Bloom drafted him doesn't mean that Breslow couldn't have traded him. So I don't, that's not necessarily an excuse that you're going to sell me on, but it's maybe something he can sell the organization on. And with the team winning baseball games right now, he has an argument to make that if you just empower me more, I'll improve this roster. And if you let me go out and buy, I'll improve this roster. Because generally when he makes a trade, it's pretty good. Garrett Crochet, pretty good. I know he's been hurt, but pretty good. Sonny Gray, pretty good. Wilson Contreras, pretty good. Hell, even Durbin's hitting a little bit more. You got Siegler in that return as well. It might not be as bad a trade. You might have lost it, but might not be as bad a trade as some of us think. How about Jake Bennett? Great trade. Tremendous trade. So Breslow's got a little bit of wind at his sails right now. And we'll see how much they empower him at the deadline. I just say wait. I bet you he doesn't want to wait. I bet you he wants to go on this. 617-779-0985. Let's go to Sebastian on the Cape to lead us off tonight. Sebastian, I cut you. That's my fault. I apologize. That's on me. Call back. I'll get you back to the top of the line. Messed up on that. Hit the double button. Thought I was being fancy here, Skaz. I didn't have my call screener lined up. I said, I'm just going to hit the button on the phone. And that's what I did to him. Rookie move. Rookie mistake. What are you going to do? Yes, I have done this before. Probably doesn't sound like it, but I have done this before. We'll get to you on the phones at 617-779-0985. Sebastian, I'm sorry about that. To the front of the line you go. My bad, my friend.
No problem at all. I just wanted to call. I totally agree about your take on Trevor Story and all those guys. With Trevor Story possibly coming back soon, if he's not hitting, 300 in the first week of him coming back, I think we sit him immediately. I don't think he's going to add anything defensively, and offensively he's a minus in the lineup.
Sebastian, I think you're being too kind to Trevor Story. You give him a week. I don't give him a day. I don't give him an at-bat. You're a better baseball team without him. And I guess this gets into a conversation. How much of this turnaround, if you want to even call it that, how much of this do you put on the fact that there are guys who have been phased out due to injury? Meyer, Story, even Anthony, if you want to go that far. And, if Roman Anthony ever decides he wants to play baseball again, or if Marcelo Meyer decides, he'd like to play baseball after about July 1st, because he almost never does, or if Trevor Story, who said he's pretty much ahead of schedule, comes back, how do you approach that? I got some thoughts on that that I want to get to, and we'll get to it with you. I see on the phone lines. Hang tight. 617-779-0985. We'll continue here. Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray. Get you the latest on this Red Sox game tonight, which will be starting a little bit later after travel issues. And we'll get into more Red Sox thoughts next. We'll continue. It's McCarthy in for Joe.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox and Mets will have their first pitch at 7:50 tonight. It's because they were delayed. The Red Sox were arriving in New York. They played a game. All right, Matt McCarthy in for Joe tonight. Red Sox going to begin their game about 15 minutes from now after they got delayed heading out of Chicago. When a team starts playing better baseball without some of their better players, it always begs the question, how much of this has to do with the fact that those players aren't on the field? And what do you do when they come back? Now, if you want to talk trading deadline, and this is more of a Chaim Bloom era thing than a Craig Breslow era thing, but I mean, what's one common refrain you always hear from teams? Oh, well, injured player X is our acquisition. That's how we're getting him back, which I hate. Has to be one of my least favorite arguments in all of sports. Hate that, hate that, hate that. I'll take it one further. When injured player X comes back, he's going to make your team worse. And that's if I'm talking about Trevor Story and Marcelo Meyer. Red Sox are a better baseball team without those two. And when Story's ready to come back, that's fine. He can enjoy Worcester. I know there was a lot of buzz that he didn't want to come back. This was a few years ago when he was coming back from one of his many, many injuries. This would have been 2024. He was spending a lot of time in Worcester. Enjoyed a long rehab down there. He can enjoy as long a rehab as he wants. He'll make this team worse. One of the reasons the Red Sox are playing better baseball and scoring more runs is because they're not striking out as much. Trevor Story's going to come up here and strike out a ton. He'll give you a little more pop when he connects with it, but it doesn't happen too often. He's a 200 hitter. I don't want Trevor Story to ever have an at-bat for the Boston Red Sox ever again. Got to move on. Got to, cut the cord on that one. You are a better team and a better operation without him. I know he's an important guy in that clubhouse, which is why I want him gone. They've had leadership problems in their clubhouse. It showed up earlier this year. I think there was a divide between older players and younger players. I'm not saying Trevor Story was necessarily a part of that, but Trevor Story was very upset when Alex Cora got fired. Very upset. You know why? Because Cora was his chief enabler. Cora let him get away with hitting 200. Get away with playing subpar defense. Well, because he's Trevor Story, he's precious Trevor. We can't possibly bench him. I hope that with Cora now out of the picture and the team playing better baseball and the team getting more from the infielders that they've had in place of Trevor Story, be it the Nick Sogards of the world or the Anthony Sieglers, I mean the shortstop, second baseman, infielder of the day. That guy gives you more than Trevor Story. So when Story comes back, that's fine. Not for the Boston Red Sox. I don't want to see him for the rest of this year. He will not help the team. I'd also make the same argument on Marcelo Meyer. This winning streak basically coincides with Meyer going on the injured list. And again, there are rumors and, the chatter about maybe some disconnects and dysfunction between older players and younger players. On this roster, we go back to the Isaiah Kiner-Falefa comments about why the team plays so poorly at home and talking about everything going on at Fenway and the distractions. And I'm paraphrasing here from Kiner-Falefa. But I think a lot of us read that at the time as a bit of a shot at the younger guys, the Myers of the world, who maybe are a little bit more interested in other things besides baseball. Boston is a great place to be young and good looking. Increasingly, a great place to be young and good looking. Not that I would know that because I'm not young and I was never good looking. But if I were Marcelo Meyer, who is a beautiful man with a beautiful baseball swing, not that that's ever amounted to anything, he doesn't actually hit, but man, it's a beautiful swing. With a first round draft pick signing bonus in my bank account, hanging out in the seaport with another very rich friend in Roman Anthony. If I had Marcelo Meyer's looks and money and age, man, I wouldn't care about baseball either. And I'm not convinced he does. So when Meyer's ready to come back, if he's ready to come back, because there's a lot of buzz about Meyer, coming up through the minor leagues that he wasn't that willing to play through injuries. Got a little boo-boo on his arm right now, a forearm boo-boo. So that'll, knock him out 2-3 months. And then, by the time September rolls around, he's never played a professional baseball game in September. So, my guess is he might be done for the year. Who knows? But if he's ready to come back, that's great. Worcester's beautiful this time of year, man. A lot of good restaurants out there. A lot of good places to hang out. Maybe it's not the Seaport. Maybe it's not the North End. But Via's a great restaurant, Marcelo. Go check that out. Sole proprietor. Maybe the best seafood joint in the state. You like seafood? Check that out, man. Enjoy Worcester. That's where he belongs. And the team will be better off without him. The reason the Red Sox are playing better baseball right now is they have younger, unheralded guys coming up from Worcester, guys who have to grind, guys who have to fight, guys who have to prove everything, and they're getting their opportunity. Is that sustainable? Probably not. But you're getting a more concentrated, better baseball effort from guys who have to fight for something instead of a bunch of rich, spoiled young kids who were told they were the cat's meow, didn't have to work for anything in the minor leagues. They'd get called up. They get handed hundreds of millions of dollars in Roman Anthony's case, or Marcelo Meyer, when he was 18 years old, got handed millions upon millions of dollars in a signing bonus, and they haven't had to grind it out. So the second they have an injury, Roman Anthony, well, I'll be back. Maybe someday, but my finger hurts. Marcelo Meyer, the second you get an injury, as he's proven all throughout the minor leagues, see you later. Bye. They're better off without them. Right now. Now, you eventually need to have a ceiling in baseball. Any team needs to have a ceiling in talent, and that is something this Red Sox lineup does not have a lot of. Roman Anthony has talent. Marcelo Meyer might have talent. Certainly has a beautiful-looking swing, smooth in the field, but the results have never been there. But no doubt there is untapped potential here for Marcelo Meyer, too. But what is untapped potential? What is that all ultimately worth? And where has it gotten the Red Sox? The answer is pretty much nowhere. Hasn't gotten them anywhere. Got them to last place in the American League East. All of a sudden, those guys are gone. You start playing better baseball. Meyer, Anthony, out of the picture. Trevor Story, who was handed $140 million and hasn't had to earn any of it here in Boston. Mike Vrabel said on the day he took over the Patriots, we're going to remove entitlement from the organization. The Red Sox have not tried to do that, but it's been forced upon them because injuries have removed entitlement from the organization. And maybe now they're taking their first step to trying to beat some of the entitlement out of the organization, out of these players, and that's by splitting Meyer and Anthony up. I know that's very devastating for them. I'm sure they're FaceTiming every night because they're so close. They're big-time friends. They're besties for life. I think they have, like the matching bracelets and everything. They've been split up. Meyer's now in Florida. Anthony's now in Florida. Meyer's now here. That's a good thing. You're trying to wake a player up if you're sending him to Fort Myers in July. And if that doesn't wake Roman Anthony up, I don't know what will. And the second Anthony comes back here, I'd send Meyer down there too. Got to grind through it a little bit. That's why we're getting reporting from Sean McAdam. The day we found out Meyer was going on the injured list, talking about how he wasn't willing to play through injuries, and they've questioned some of that. His tendency to withdraw, meaning the guy's soft. He's soft. You're better off without him. And no wonder the Red Sox have been playing better baseball. That is not a coincidence. 617-779-0985. Let's go to Mike in Brighton. Hey, Mike.
Hey, McCarthy. Yeah, definitely agree with most of the things you're saying. Honestly, when you mention Story, I think about the Red Sox every day. He hasn't even crossed my mind in well over a month, so thanks for the reminder that he's even in our program.
Yeah, I apologize for that. Yeah, he sucks. Sorry about that, Mike.
No, you're good. But on Meyer and Anthony, yeah, definitely happy that Anthony's sent down to Siberia baseball because definitely he's hitting the seaport a little too hard. And so is Meyer, and I got an inside source. During the third game of the White Sox series, when they were going for the sweep, huge game, pivotal series for the Red Sox, he was spotted by a close friend of mine at a Chipotle. Wasn't even following the game. Guy is checked out during the game, middle of the game. Had no idea if anything was even happening. So they're checked out. It couldn't be any more clear. So, yeah, I think they got to get a little attitude adjustment here.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not here to say whether your friend is right or wrong. Does it check out based on the things we've heard about Marcelo Meyer? They basically had to teach him how to show up on time in spring training. Does that check out? Sure it does. So whether or not he was actually there, I admittedly, that doesn't really matter to me. Because we've had plenty of reporting on it. You ask anybody who lives in the seaport, those guys are seen out. It's no secret. I mean, keep an eye out for them. They're all out there. And you got a baseball team that's struggling right now. I'm not saying don't live your life. In the end, it's your job. I get that. But when you're sending Roman Anthony to Fort Myers to get him away from the stuff in Boston, as they alluded to, that's not just, well, he's really bummed to be here because he's not playing. I mean, come on. And I don't think the Red Sox are really trying to sell you on anything different. I think it's a very public shaming in some ways of Roman Anthony. And I'll be curious to see what ends up happening with Meyer. I mean, the Sean McAdam reporting that came out on the day he went on the injured list, a few hours before he went out in the injured list, felt like a bit of an organizational hit piece. They were more than happy to talk about their issues with Meyer. Did that wake him up? Or is he going to have to get sent to Fort Myers too, or get sent somewhere else? I'll tell you what the Red Sox cannot do. They cannot send Meyer and Anthony anywhere together. I've been on this for a long time. If you want to get the most out of Roman Anthony, who I still believe in and still think can be one of the best players in all of baseball, if you want to get the most out of Roman Anthony, you need to ship Marcelo Meyer out of town. Those two are way too close. I think they're way too much of a bad influence on one another. Got to break them up. I mean, it really is like, taking two kids in middle school and putting them on opposite sides of the classroom because they keep disrupting the class. Shocker that the two kids aren't in the class anymore and everybody's grades are going up. Red Sox are starting to play better baseball. That is not a coincidence. Not if you ask me. 617-779-0985. We'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray here on the Sports Hub. We got Derek Ray, the great, legendary Derek Ray, going to join the program at 8:30 tonight. We'll do In or Out. We'll muse. We got a story we need to follow up on from last night at the end of last night's program. A lot of reaction to that today. Text, phone calls, tweets. We can't talk about it. Really, not at 7 o'clock at night. We can't talk about it. 10 o'clock at night, that's a different story. We'll reset and re-rack that one and really get to the most important things. A man cut something off of his body that you never want to cut off. And that's all I can say at 7:50 at night. We'll continue here on the Sports Hub.
More Joe Murray coming up on the Sports Hub.
that I want to get to here in a few minutes. I'll just tell you right now, it's Victor Wembanyama signed Wemby. I'm just going to say Wemby. I don't know. I can never pronounce his last name. Skaz, can you work through it with me? Wembanyama?
Wemby.
Wemby.
Yeah, Wemby. Big
Too
French fellow.
Too many M's and N's in there. Out on that. Wemby signed a big contract. It's now the second biggest San Antonio Spurs news this week.
Depends on who you ask.
Not great. Not great. Anyway, we'll get to that here in a few minutes. I do want to get to this, though. Bryce Harper, also not the biggest Bryce Harper related story this week, but Bryce Harper now wants Major League Baseball to let home run derby participants use metal bats during the bonus round. Skaz, you in on this?
I mean, if you want to pay the insurance fee for all the children in the outfield Bryce Harper's about to maim, I mean, no, I'm not in on this. Like, I get nervous watching it now with, like, I feel like there's too many kids out there. You're going to give these guys metal bats?
I'm not worried about the children at all. Does that make me an a-hole?
I mean, that's a tough sight to say on television.
Well, don't you? I mean,
they cut away when they do it to the horses at the Derby. Now we're just going to let Bryce Harper out here hit fastballs 200 miles an hour at children?
It's the launch angle era. These guys don't hit liners. They're not trying to hit the ball. See ball, hit ball, as Jim Rice would say. They're not trying to hit the ball on the line. They're trying to hit the ball to Timbuktu. I'm in on this. I wouldn't just say bonus round. You know what, Skaz? If you're so worried about the safety of the children, won't somebody think of the children?
Somebody.
I'm glad you are. All right, aluminum bats? Sure. Tennis balls. Have them hit tennis balls. Aluminum bats, tennis balls. See if you can have a guy hit at 1,000 feet. I'd be down for that. How far do you think a major leaguer, like a big power hitter, could hit a tennis ball with a metal bat?
Where's Willie Moe when you need him?
Oh, would have been perfect for that.
Adam Dunn?
That's what I want to see. I like seeing taters.
Dongs,
baby. Home run dirt. I can still get into it. I hear they've stopped the clock format this year.
I just wait until the day of, and then I find out the rules, because they change them every year, it feels like, at this point.
The clock format was good for about a year or two because, well, the pitch clock hadn't come in yet, and the home run derby had become an absolutely unwatchable event because of how long it took.
Guys were taking like 7 pitches.
We can't be doing this. Now, I guess the rule is you get 20 swings. That's it. Perfect. 20 swings. I'd even cut it down to 10. You get 10 swings, how many homers are you hitting? It's not the sheer number of home runs being hit in the home run derby. I want to see the efficiency. Goddamn, did I just use a Craig Breslow term? Craig Breslow wants a more efficient home run derby.
You want some optionality in your home run derby?
I do. No, yeah, I want optionality. I want the option of giving hitters metal bats. Maybe just the bonus round. You're right. Like, you just go out there. Here's a bat. Just crank with it. You don't need to worry about kids getting hit by the ball. You got to worry about kids getting hit by other kids. Every year there's a kid who gets trucked in the outfield, right?
I think that's part of the fun. I'm okay with that. That's kid on kid violence. How about not bringing a metal bat into it?
How about the people in the stands? You're not concerned about them? They're paying customers.
No.
Bring a glove.
Bring a glove. You got the netting up the sides now. We've made advances.
Yeah. Remember the footage of the home run derby from Lansdowne in '99? Like, just people standing out there. Dude, Lansdowne is a terrifying place when you really think. I nearly got smoked by a batting practice home run a few years ago. I had no idea it was coming at me. It landed next to me. I had no idea. I was down there with Jones at the time. He's like, dude, you nearly got smoked by that. I was like, smoked by what? He's like, that home run ball. Then some other dude got the ball, which kind of stinks, because I've never caught a home run ball or a foul ball. It's very disappointing. I did, however, Skaz, get a game-used Major League Baseball from an umpire at a bar in Boston a few weeks ago. I won't say which one, and I won't say where. No, I'll say where. It was Biddy Early's, which is awesome. You want to see...
Hold on. This umpire's carrying around baseballs?
Game-used baseballs.
Oh, has he got his little pouch on?
Handing them out. We got game-used baseballs. I got it sitting in my living room right now.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Honestly, great move. If I were an umpire And if I were going from city to city,
It's not exactly like the easiest thing to be carrying around, a bunch of baseballs.
well, they got those pouches. You're right. Just go into the bar wearing the pouches. Double-sided
Leave your work
ball
at
bags.
home, Leave your work. Don't take your work to the bar with you.
You're telling me that's not a way to like put a move on somebody at the bar?
Hey, here's a used baseball.
Yeah. Would have gotten me. It's a pickup line for me. I would have gone home with him if he had asked. You give me a game-used baseball? It's a Major League Baseball, damn it.
Right, not even game used. He stacks a couple at the beginning of the season. Yeah,
dude. Well, it is a little bit scuffed up. So, and it's got Rob Manfred's, signature right there on it. Official Major League Baseball, sitting in my proudly displayed in my living room right now, handed to me by a Major League umpire who was just hanging out with the crew, the Major League crew, at Biddy Early's. It's a good spot. I'll tell you what, Skaz, you want to walk into a place where somebody's a legend. Alex Barth is a legend at Biddy Early's. It's like walking in with Elvis when he walks in there. It's like the doors open. It's like Henry Hill at the Copa. I mean, just doors opening left and right for the kid. It's incredible. Barth of all people. Maybe he should try that move. Felger's very interested in his love life. If you watch the
Barth starts carrying around a draft catalogs with him and handing those out. Here's your Athlon Sports for the upcoming season.
This guy's a 5th-round pick. See? Right in there. Highlighted, circled, everything. Got some notes.
What do you mean you haven't heard of the tight end from Navy?
Babe, let me tell you. You know the meme of the guy leaning into the girl at the...
Of course.
Yeah, whispering in her ear, and she couldn't be less interested.
Basically holding her at gunpoint.
Yeah. That's Barth. Barth rolling into Biddy Early's with his draft guide. Yep. Maybe not the most effective pickup move, but game-used Major League Baseballs, in on that move. Tremendous. All right, 617-779-0985. Got to get to this Wemby news. We'll do that next. Derek Ray joining the program, the great Derek Ray at 8:30. We'll continue. No commercials, just the headlines here.
From the Town Fair Tire Studio, the game is on the Sports Hub.
Goes to the backhand and score! Two-hand slam!
Boston's home for sports.
I love this team!
98.5, the Sports Hub, a Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox out to a 2-0 lead on the Mets. It's after their flight got in, 45 minutes ago, something like that. No, they got in just before 5 o'clock today. They delayed the game, and we're underway, and the Red Sox are already out to a 2-0 lead. Elsewhere, Shohei Ohtani will skip the All-Star game. He's dealing with knee soreness. Cedar Rafaela added to the American League All-Star roster. He'll replace Aaron Judge. Spurs star Victor Wembanyama will agree to a 5-year, $252 million maximum rookie scale contract extension. It means he left more than $50 million on the table by not going for the Supermax. Former Heat teammates Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero got into a physical altercation today in Las Vegas, according to ESPN. Adebayo allegedly striking Hero as part of that altercation. He punched him. That's how I read that. He punched the man. Headlines are brought to you by... Wait for it. Super Service today, currently hiring plumbers, experienced HVAC techs, and drain cleaning techs for their growing Danvers shop. Enjoy top pay medical, dental, and vision paid vacation and holidays. Apply now at superservicetoday.com/careers. I'm Matt McCarthy on Boston's Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 30 minutes.
Diving effort.
And he's got a breakaway! Goes to the backhand!
Throws it in.
Coming to the spot!
The Sports Hub.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.5 The Sports Hub.
$252 million. Sounds like a lot of money. He left a lot of money on the table. More than $50 million not going for the Supermax. And he says, apparently, allegedly, Skaz, you were saying this, that he said the reasoning is he wants the Spurs to have the flexibility to be able to build around him.
That appears to be how they're selling it.
How does that make you feel as a Celtics fan? Given that Wemby is taking less. Now, Wemby also, in fairness, I mean, this is kind of like Shohei Ohtani taking his money deferred. Wemby is going to earn millions upon millions upon millions upon millions upon millions of dollars in advertising and endorsements and you name it. And his brand is far greater than Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum's, far greater than both of them combined at this point. So let's not exactly cry for Wemby here and say, he's the most noble of all the athletes. That being said, if we do want to buy into this kind of shift in the NBA that Supermax contracts are not worth it, and these contracts maybe eventually become untradeable, and that's why you had to trade Jaylen Brown's contract for Paul George's contract, because both contracts are untradeable, and you had to trade him to a team that also has an untradeable contract in Joel Embiid, and teams are going to back away from this, and they're not going to go the full Supermax, and that there's going to be a real shift in the NBA. That all very well might be happening, and I'm fascinated to see if that does happen in the coming years. But Wemby leaving a whole bunch of money on the table is noteworthy and does make you say, all right, well, maybe he cares more about winning than Brown and Tatum. I mean, Jaylen Brown's not leaving any money on the table, that's for sure. He's going to want more money. He's going to want an extension. The Celtics reportedly felt that his extension ask in a couple of weeks when he was eligible for it was going to make his contract even more untradeable. I don't see Jason Tatum as the number one player on the team leaving money on the table so that 70% of the cap is not tied up in Brown and Tatum. If you want to believe that argument, and I suppose there is an argument to be made that you don't want 70% of your cap tied into two players who've only managed to win one championship together and other than that have chronically underachieved in the playoffs. So when you see somebody else do it, you do say, all right, well, maybe he does care a little bit more about winning than your guys. And that's a tough pill to swallow. And what I think it ultimately comes down to is this is just another small example of why it was not going to work with Brown and Tatum. They care about more things than winning. Jaylen Brown wants to be a number one. Jaylen Brown has issues with everybody here. Maybe Jason Tatum wants to be a number one, had problems with what Brown was saying about it being his team and all that stuff. And in the end, as we believe that, hear the reporting in recent days that their relationship had pretty much become non-existent, there were factors that were getting in the way of them winning and probably were always going to get in the way of them winning. And whether this is just window dressing with Wemby or not, we can have a debate about that. It does remind us that neither Brown nor Tatum were willing to sacrifice. And that's one of the reasons why they broke up. That's a factor here. And we can debate how much of a sacrifice this really is for Wemby, but he did leave something on the table. $50 million is nothing to sneeze at, even if you're going to make all of that back in endorsements and you'll have more money to do with than you know what to do with. Just an interesting dichotomy between the Spurs situation and the Celtics situation, and it's hard to feel great about the way that any of this has gone down. Am I wrong to look at it this way, Skaz?
No, I think it's a fair way to look at it. And just for context, for people wondering what exactly Wemby did, when you sign your rookie Supermax, you can get up to 30%. I think it is. So when Tatum signed his most recent Supermax, he got 35%. That's where the 70 comes from there for him and Brown. Wemby was eligible for 30 because it was his first Supermax. He elected to go with 25%, saving himself and the organization about $52 million. And people are going to rightly point to Wemby because he's the youngest guy to do this. But Jalen Brunson did this with the Knicks, and we all, and Wemby certainly got a front row seat to how that turned out for them. Now they're going to have to pay Brunson. It looks like, I don't think he's going to take a pay cut a second time, so they will have to pony up eventually, but they got a title out of it. So maybe this is kind of the new way. And I think there's the way you can look at it. Either, this is a good thing in terms of, building a winner if you're someone like, Wemby and you believe in your ownership group, but there's the other way to look at it too, where you're just saving these owners money and you're banking on them actually going out and, reimbursing Wemby, with other players around him, which is a risk in today's day and age.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, would you trust if you went to this new Celtics ownership and said, "Hey, I'm gonna leave 5% on the table. You're going to invest that back into the team." I mean, do you think that they're going to do that, or do you think that they're going to put that 5% in Bill Chisholm's investors' pockets? Because in the end, it's not necessarily Chisholm who owns the team. The Celtics have a number of shadow owners and investors behind the scenes who Chisholm needs to answer to. So yeah, it is a risk, but you mentioned, I think it's a fair point too, Skaz. Brunson did it once. Is he going to do it again? Let's keep in mind here, and I've heard people say in recent days, you left something on, you left something on the table with Brown and Tatum. How do you move on? That team can still win. I don't think they can still win. I don't think that duo was ever going to win again, because once you win once, maybe your priorities aren't 100% winning again. You could say Jalen Brunson left something on the table and that helped build a better team around him, and the Knicks are a deeper team. True. Now that he has a championship, is he likely to do that again, or is he going to say, all right, now it's time for me to be made whole? Chances are he's going to say it's time for me to be made whole. Jaylen Brown has already won a championship. He's already a finals MVP. You think he wants to be second fiddle to Tatum after all of that? Probably not. He doesn't. He's made that clear. Jason Tatum has a championship. He says he wants to be finals MVP one day. I bet you that's not the MVP he wants the most. He doesn't have a regular season MVP. Jaylen Brown going away increases the odds of Tatum winning the MVP because the roster won't be as good around him. What's the one thing that's always held against Tatum and Brown, for that matter, when it comes to accolades and individual awards? It's, well, your team's really good, which it is. So how can you be the most valuable player when you have a top 15, top 20 running mate in Jaylen Brown? That's always been held against Jason Tatum. It won't be anymore. So just because you've won once doesn't make you more likely to win again. In fact, I think in the NBA, especially over the course of these last 8 years where you've had 8 different champions, you win once, you are now less likely to win again. And breaking teams up, actually, I think is the better move. Now, the problem with breaking it up is you actually have to get something in return for the guy, which you didn't. So, bit of a slight issue there with the way the Celtics approached all of this. I had no problem with the plan, a bit of a problem with the execution. 617-779-0985 will continue. It's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening.
to be totally honest, will join us about 15 minutes. Calls the World Cup for Fox, Bundesliga, all over the place. And if you've ever played FIFA or EAFC, now it is known, he is the voice in that game too. So Derek Ray, not to mention too, the original voice of the New England Revolution, will be joining us about 15 minutes from now. We're going to talk some World Cup. Skaz is here. I'm definitely going to want him to jump in on that conversation as well, being the one of the true soccer authorities here at the station. But we're excited to have Derek Ray joining the program about 15 minutes from now. The man's a legend. I mean, in that world, if you're a soccer person, you know who Derek Ray is. So we're very excited to have him joining the program about 15 minutes from now. Noah Dalzell, also a friend of the program, sat down with Joe Mazzulla, and she wrote this. When I ask about that flood of criticism, a sharp departure from the flowers they received during an unexpected 56-win campaign, Mazzulla interrupts me. Quote, "As we should be," Mazzulla said. "That's deserved criticism. 1, you don't end your season on a loss. 2, you're going to end up 3-1. You have to be able to win a game, and we don't, so that starts with me." We make anything of these comments, Skaz, from Joe Mazzulla, who, by the way, I think is one of the real winners of the Jaylen Brown trade. He's obviously caught a lot of flack for their playoff underperformance. I would actually argue maybe even too much. I think Mazzulla has shielded Brown and Tatum from a lot of criticism here in recent years because Mazzulla is a controversial figure. He carries himself like a nut at the press conference. His style of play is obviously flawed. He is tremendously stubborn. Mazzulla has put a target on his back, no doubt about it. I don't think he cares about that. I actually think he loves it. I think he loves the attention. I think he loves the target. But I don't know. I think he's one of the real winners of this trade because if things go wrong for the Celtics, if they underachieve, the first person you're going to criticize will not be Joe Mazzulla. The first person you'll criticize will either be Bill Chisholm or Brad Stevens, depending on who you think is responsible for this trade. The Brown trade gives Mazzulla and Tatum cover to me. So I find these comments interesting, Skaz.
Yeah, I think for Joe Mazzulla, this is a win. I think it's a big win for Mazzulla Ball and, kind of the organization's belief in him and his style of basketball. But people like to or want to, whatever it is, disassociate Brad Stevens with Joe Mazzulla and Mazzulla Ball. Joe Mazzulla is Brad Stevens' guy. If people want to say it was Tatum and Mazzulla, I think this was Brad Stevens and Joe Mazzulla kind of unifying how they view modern basketball and their approach to winning games and the new CBA and all that minutia. I truly believe this was a Brad Stevens, Joe Mazzulla, kind of a tandem feeling here, and that was the collaboration or we felt that way or whatever he ended up saying there. But I think he's absolutely one of the winners of this. I mean, he's a guy who has the biggest playoff loss in the history of the Boston Celtics. They traded the second best player on his roster, and he's still here.
He survives it all. And in the end, I don't think he's going anywhere. I think Stevens is on board with it. Most importantly, Tatum is on board with it. How do we not look at all of this and say that there is a power struggle element to it? I'm not saying it's 100% the reason this deal was made. I think money is the number one reason why this trade was made. But, in the end, Tatum and Brown obviously had some issues. Joe Mazzulla last night, when he was asked about all of this, was very quick to reference there are a lot of reasons, and I'm paraphrasing here, there are a lot of reasons why this trade was made both on and off the court. So once you mention off the court, now all of a sudden you're saying, there are factions. It's Jaylen Brown versus Joe Mazzulla. It's Jaylen Brown versus Jason Tatum. It's Jaylen Brown versus the Celtics. I don't know who it is, but it's Jaylen Brown versus pretty much everybody over there. That would be my sense as to how, this all broke down. You were either on Jaylen's side or you were on somebody else's side. And Joe Mazzulla, I think, was very much on, not Jaylen Brown's side, which puts him on Jason Tatum's side. So you're right. Because of this trade, I think you see Tatum empowered. I think you see Joe Mazzulla empowered. They won. They definitely 100% won. And that will be how we define this moving forward. If the Sixers have a great year and they're a championship contender, well, then we'll look at Jaylen Brown and say he won. If the Celtics have a better year than the Sixers, and we'll look back on it and say, well, the Celtics, made the right choice. They picked the right side, whether that the Tatum Mazzulla side, however you wanted to find it. My sense is, though, if I had to guess, I think neither side comes out of this winning. I don't think Jaylen Brown's a fit in Philadelphia. The more I think about the way this is going to play out, Brown wanted out of here because he wanted to have his own team. He's talked about his guys, his young guys. This was his favorite year because it was his team. He'll be the first to tweet out the stats to prove how good his team was. It's important for him. It's important for his ego. It's important for his legacy. He wants to be the guy. They sent him to a team where there are 3 other guys. Right now, who is the alpha of the Philadelphia 76ers? Is it Embiid? Is it Maxey? Because I don't think it's Jaylen Brown. You think Jaylen Brown's going to go in there, and he might try to because he wants to have his own team so badly and so desperately. What's going to go in if Jaylen Brown goes in, hogs the basketball? There's only one basketball to go around in Philadelphia and just about anywhere. Based on the rules of the sport that I know I watch, there's only one basketball. And you got to share it, and it's got to move. Jaylen Brown, at times, not great at doing that. I'm not convinced that situation is going to work in Philadelphia at all. So I don't think we're going to be looking back on this 2 years, 3 years from now and saying, wow, the Sixers are really happy with that trade. I just don't think we'll be saying the same thing about the Celtics. I think there's a chance that both sides come out of this disappointed by what they got out of it or what they didn't get out of it. That would be my guess. I want to get Nick in Attleboro on the line before we have Derek Ray join the program. Hey, Nick.
Hey, Matt. How you doing? Nice to hear you on the radio, man.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
Real quick, I agree with pretty much everything you're saying. I know that you say Mazzulla is definitely Brad Stevens' guy. I guess my take is they got to bring in some assistant coaches that can actually draw up plays. While I obviously disagree with a lot of Mazzulla's philosophy and stuff, like he does have the buy-in of the players, which you can't really coach that. You can't teach that. But he clearly, I'm sorry, if you had Brad Stevens or someone else coaching that Game 7, there's a good chance the Celtics win that game because you're going to have a coach who can draw up a play. So I don't know if you guys know of anyone that's being looked at that can come in and be like, hey, we need you at the end of games to kind of help Joe because Joe is lacking there, Matt. That is a fact.
Yeah, well, the question is Joe Mazzulla going to listen to somebody who does that? I don't know if you've noticed, Nick, he is a little bit stubborn. He does coach like he has a point to prove. I mean, there was nothing, point making or point proving about that starting lineup in Game 7. No, not at all. Joe Mazzulla definitely wasn't trying to make a statement with that lineup. I mean, who wouldn't start Ron Harper Jr. after? Did he even play at all? Was he DNP in the entire series? Who wouldn't do that? I mean, that's chess. Joe Mazzulla was playing chess. Everybody else was playing basketball.
Not a Luka Garza guy there, McCarthy?
Can't say I am. Can't say I am. Not what you're looking for. But no, sure, Joe Mazzulla is totally going to let an assistant coach come in here and draw plays for him. I hear what you're saying, man. Yeah, it's a problem. If Brad Stevens is coaching that game, do you win the game? You very well might. I'm not saying that Joe Mazzulla hasn't hurt them, because he has. No doubt about it, he has. I just think because it has been so egregious, the decisions he's made, his coaching has been that bad in the playoffs, that has given Brown and Tatum cover for their performance and what they've done in the playoffs. I just don't think they deserve that cover. And that was why I'd been arguing all offseason to break up the Jays. But now that you traded Jaylen Brown in such a terrible, terrible trade where you got nothing in return. When I said break up the Jays, I worked under the assumption that you'd be getting something back for one of the Jays. Foolish me. But I think you ultimately have to look at those two and say, yeah, the coach isn't good, but you haven't been good enough either. 617-779-0985. We're going to break early because Derek Ray is going to join the program, talk some World Cup. You certainly don't want to miss that. Stay tuned. It's Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray. Quick update here on the headlines and Derek Ray on the other side.
Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox out to a 2-0 lead on the Mets after their flight situation went a little haywire earlier today. They landed in New York just before 5 o'clock, but they did send Sonny Gray to the mound tonight. Bit of a delayed start, but the Sox... We have room for you at 617-779-0985. I'll tell you, this is a real treat for us. I am a soccer fan. Skaz is an even bigger soccer guy back there. So we went out and we got one of the biggest soccer guys around. I call him the voice of football because he is. Derek Ray, joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline, of course, calls World Cup games for Fox. He calls the Bundesliga. He was the original voice of the Revs. And he's the voice of FIFA, man. EAFC. Derek, it is a pleasure to have you on the airwaves tonight.
Good evening, Matt, from the beautiful, relaxing North Shore. And the pleasure is all mine, by the way. Thank you for having me on.
You know the Boston area pretty well. I mean, you called Revs games back in the day. I know you tweeted out you're back in Massachusetts here for a few weeks in the middle of the World Cup. How's this World Cup experience been for you so far, Derek?
This one has been a bit of a whirlwind, to be honest. And I think, of course, it comes down to the geography and the logistics. I did my last game in Atlanta on Tuesday, which happened to be the epic between Argentina and Egypt. But it was only after we completed that game that we were thinking back to how many venues we were in. And it was 8 venues altogether, 8 venue cities across 3 different countries, the USA, Canada, and Mexico. And I've never, in all my time, and I've covered every World Cup professionally since 1990, in all that time, I've never had a World Cup quite like this. And it's the same for every broadcasting crew. But, of course, we thoroughly enjoy it. The stories are wonderful. There's absolutely nothing like it.
The stories have been great. Obviously, the Scots, the Tartan Army, were here a few weeks ago, and just lifelong friendships, I feel like, built between Bostonians and Scottish folks, who made, the trek across the Atlantic. Do you have a moment that has really stood out to you in this World Cup for you, Derek, as somebody who's, called the World Cup, every World Cup going back to 1990, a tremendous call of Messi's equalizer the other day. Is there one moment that really stands out to you in this World Cup?
I think from a commentator's point of view, it would be that one. It would be the Messi equalizer, because let's face it, Argentina, the defending champions, were staring elimination in the face. And the odds really were stacked against them. You're not entitled to think that when you're 2-0 down with 11 minutes to go in a World Cup round of 16 game that you're going to survive that ordeal. But then there is the genius that is Lionel Messi, and Argentina wouldn't have done it without Messi. And I'm pretty confident, and I think we're always conscious of history when it comes to the World Cup. I'm fairly confident that in 20, 30 years' time, people will remember that. People will say, yeah, that was one of the great Messi moments, one of the great World Cup moments. Not if you're an Egyptian fan, sadly. They were very, very close, and I think deserve credit for what they produced in that game. But that would be my favourite one as a commentator. I will say, as a Scot, as a Scotsman, I was living vicariously through what was happening back here in the Boston area. And I say that because my wife, who's one of your own, who's from the North Shore, she was actually putting up two of my best friends from Scotland, from my home city of Aberdeen, who were here staying. And my cousin, who's a Scot, who now lives in Australia, and his son, they were in. And, of course, we were being fed these wonderful, vivid pictures of, Scots having the time of their lives in the Boston area. And it wasn't just the city of Boston as well. I have a very good friend who owns a pub in Salem, and he said it was the best business that they have done in years. And it wasn't just, from a business angle. It was also just how convivial it was and how locals got into it. So I'm really pleased as a Scot that we put ourselves on the map here in the Boston area, and I think, as many have noted, it's a connection that will not die.
If there is not an international friendly between the United States and Scotland in the coming years, either here or there, what an incredible missed opportunity that will be for every pub owner from Boston all the way up to Salem, down to Providence, wherever they may be. We're joined by Derek Ray. I call him the voice of football because he is, of course, calling World Cup games for Fox. Just a tremendous career. Could FIFA have asked for anything better than this, Derek? Not just with the television ratings, and ratings are off the charts, but the performances of Messi and Mbappe and Haaland. I mean, it is the stars have really come out to play in this World Cup. Is that fair to say?
It's absolutely fair to say. I think on a scale that really hasn't happened before at the World Cup, because we're very much in the era of stars, whether we like that or not. And, probably would have to say, you mentioned the video game that I've been associated with that. Responsible for this era of early World Cups, as a youngster in Scotland. Yes, we had the stars. We had people like Johan Cruyff of the Netherlands who didn't quite win it, was unlucky not to win it. We had Maradona. Prior to that, we had Pele, but slightly before my time. But it wasn't necessarily about the stars. And in this World Cup, the stars, if you'll excuse the pun, have aligned. And the goal scorers, if you look at the goal scoring chart on the top of that chart, it's all names who, even people with a sort of a peripheral interest in the game, names who might be familiar to even casual fans. So, when you're talking about people like Mbappe and Messi and Harry Kane, and the list goes on, Haaland, who we're going to see tomorrow with Norway against England, that's a pretty impressive list. And so that has come together in a way that, on the one hand, you would say it's fair. You would think it's fairly normal for that to happen, but it hasn't always happened at the World Cup. Usually, you go through the list of these stars, and 2 or 3 of them will have bad World Cups. It simply doesn't happen at all. So that has certainly come together nicely. I think the people who have gone to the games, especially people who were not immersed in the sport but wanted to be part of it, I think they've all come away from the experience feeling fulfilled and thinking to themselves, okay, I understand this now. I get what the fuss is all about. And Matt, I mean, you're a fan of the sport, But I think a lot of people sort of think, okay, what is this sport and why are people in other countries so into it? And I've always said, once it's in your heart, it doesn't leave you. It becomes part of you. And I have a feeling that there'll be many people who got their first real taste of big-time football, as we call it, soccer, as many here in the USA call it, and will now be looking for other outlets, whether that's watching from afar, whether that's watching the Premier League in England, hopefully, as you mentioned, as a Bundesliga commentator working in Germany mostly, hopefully some people will decide to switch on there. But it doesn't really matter. It's about, trying to make that connection with the wider world game. And it is a world game, the one true world game.
Derek, a real joy to be talking to you. And we've been doing, a lot of talking about, the USA and their run in this World Cup. And you mentioned Germany there and your ties to the Bundesliga. And I apologize if this is a little long-winded, but stick with me here. So
yeah.
The problem with soccer in America, people go to pay for play. People want to blame the MLS. And I'm a diehard soccer guy, big soccer guy. I try to give the MLS a little bit of a pass because you've worked in the Netherlands or the Brazilian First League, where those leagues in countries that are much more soccer loving are on par or close to the MLS, closer than people would like to believe. And then you look at countries like Germany and Brazil, who finish in the same spot as a country like the United States. So was this a success for the United States, and how do they kind of get to that next level when you look at countries like Germany and Brazil, where soccer is far and away ahead of where it is in the United States? How do they gain ground on countries like that who are failing where they're failing now?
It's a great question. And, if we were to use a golf analogy, I would say that the USA's performance at this World Cup was about level par, even par. It's sort of what I expected beforehand. I thought they should get out of that group. There's no reason why not, especially with the rules and, how relatively straightforward it is to get out of a group. It wasn't the most challenging group. And then they overcame Bosnia-Herzegovina in only their second World Cup. Again, I would have said that was par for the course. I would also say it was par for the course to lose to Belgium. Belgium are a better team player for player. I think, if I could just sort of offer maybe the slightly outside perspective on it, I think the big difficulty is that a lot of people who are in the US soccer sphere, or even, fans who have discovered the sport and wanted to take off more, I think they sort of think that there's this linear path to success, that you sort of, crack a certain part of the tournament, you move to this stage and then the next stage, and it just all logically happens. But the bad news is that most countries have been trying to crack this nut forever, and most don't succeed. There's only an elite group of people or of countries in this case who actually have managed to win the World Cup. So it does take a colossal effort and a little bit of luck as well. And you have to have everything coming together. And I think, if I could say, I think the mistake that people made about this group of US players, I heard people talking about golden generations. I hate talk about golden generations, because what does that actually mean? It might mean, in this case, a better generation on paper than what the USA had before. But, many had said to me, we've got players who play in the Premier League and Serie A, and many of the top leagues in Europe. Yeah, absolutely right. But by the way, every other country has that, so that is not unique to the US. So I think that we could certainly get into the pay to play argument, and I'm absolutely behind those who believe that the USA has got to do something better and different, and they have to get into the cities much more, because that, to be honest, is where you find your players. Yeah. You don't find your best players in the wealthy suburbs. Not to say that you can't find the odd player in the wealthy suburbs. But if you want to copy other countries, if you look at this French team, for example, who are the favourites of many and maybe justifiably so to win the World Cup, the vast majority of players in France come from a very small subset of the population in the outskirts of Paris. Now, luckily there is a system for development. There's a system for identification, for support, and it doesn't cost the earth. And that is what the USA has got to strive for. But it will take a while. You can't just snap your fingers and say, okay, if we do this, then all of a sudden in 4 years or in 8 years, it's going to come right. So I think people have to be a bit patient. I also think they have to sort of enjoy the journey a bit, because, I speak as a Scot, but we have never, ever made it out of a group stage in the World Cup. And sadly, that's 9 times now, which is an ignominious record. We certainly don't want that record. But it's proof positive that even a football-mad country, and you saw the Tartan Army, how mad they are in a good way, a football-mad country, it doesn't necessarily guarantee success, albeit a small country and a much smaller one than the USA. So I think a bit of realism, small steps, but I think certainly getting into the inner cities is something that has to be a priority.
Derek, I could ask you a million questions about the intricacies of soccer and what make these countries powerhouses. It's just awesome. I guess, the one question I would ask you, and this is very much from my, as somebody who cares about the sport here in the U.S., but I'm probably still an outsider to it. Are we entering an age where there is a little bit more parity in international soccer? And I guess I look at Morocco, who was in the World Cup semifinal 4 years ago. They certainly, if you want to talk about golden generations, that's probably theirs. I mean, they've made such tremendous progress. And if they don't run into France, as you mentioned, maybe do they go farther in this tournament had the draw gone a little differently for them? Does Norway find a way to knock off England as part of this? Are we entering a phase in soccer where we're going to start to see countries that are not the blue bloods start to make the World Cup semifinal, make the World Cup final, and maybe one of these countries might one day break through and knock off a France or a Spain in the World Cup final, or Argentina? Do you think we're close to that or not yet?
Well, I think we have seen it in the last couple of World Cups. You think back to Croatia and what they did in 2018. I mean, Croatia is a tiny country with a population, give or take, of 4 million. They make a little go a long way. I mean, technically, very good country when it comes to football. And they've had a generation coming through that's now sort of a little bit past it, you would have to say. But, my hat is off to what they have achieved in the last few World Cups. And Morocco, you mentioned as well. Last time I was lucky enough to commentate on most of their games in Qatar. And nobody saw that one coming at all. I mean, there was nobody before that World Cup thinking, Morocco are going to make it to the semi-finals, ended up finishing fourth in that World Cup. And this time, quarterfinalists, I think that was maybe more expected based on even more players coming through. So I think it can happen. I mean, Norway hadn't been at the World Cup since 1998 prior to this one. And, it's not just Erling Haaland, it's others in that squad as well. You could mention Martin Ødegaard or Julian Riersson. The list goes on. It's a very credible, tidy squad, and they could easily oust England. I think it's entirely possible. I think it's probably slightly in England's favour, but you can make a strong case for Norway. So I think it does actually come in little cycles. And I have to say, to go back to the USA, my own feeling was I was trying to be fair. I thought that there were slightly unrealistic expectations from some quarters, not from most fans who I think are fairly sober and sort of analyse the strengths and weaknesses. I thought that's a pretty good squad. And as I said, for me, round of 16 was about par, and that's what they managed. And I think it would have been beyond them to get much further than that. And I think maybe they were a bit unlucky to run into Belgium because everybody, of course, wanted to play down Belgium. I covered them in the first two games at this World Cup. They were underwhelming. They were not great. But I think we all knew that they had higher gears to go to. And they, sadly, from the American point of view, they found them in that game against the USA.
Well, Derek, we could do this all night long. Thank you so much for taking the time. Really, I will say, Skaz and I are big soccer people, so a chance to talk to you and break down the World Cup a little bit was an absolute delight. And just know how much I enjoy you pronouncing every German name out there. Nobody on planet Earth nails the German names like Derek Ray. So we appreciate it, and we hope to not be strangers, knowing you got connections to the area.
No, well, thank you very much, both of you, for having me on. It's a delight to talk about it, especially to a Boston area audience, and I'm always going to have my own connections to the audience here. So, yeah, thanks again.
We appreciate it. That is the great Derek Ray joining us on the Volkswagen Dealers Expert Hotline. Dude, he's...
What a treat.
Oh, tremendous treat.
As advertised. And we got to have him on again because, like you said, McCarthy, I could ask him 10 million more questions.
Yeah.
I want to ask him, what's Messi like? You ever talk to Messi?
Yeah, that was pretty cool. I mean, it was nice enough to give us 15 minutes of his time. If he wants to do the whole show next time, Derek, please, you're more than welcome to. All right, 617-779-0985. We'll continue. We have an in or outs, guys. We're going to do that?
Oh, sure. Why not? Friday night.
Why the hell not? We'll do that next.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. On the way on 98.
Are you in or out? Are you in or out? Gotta know without a doubt. I'm the one you need for a dirty deed. I'm the best. Success is guaranteed.
Plus, we'll take your call. We'll talk to you. 617-779-0985. Skaz, what do we have tonight?
Matt McCarthy, night 2. Welcome. July 10th.
Good to be here.
Let's hear Swifty. Let's start with some T-Swift, Matt McCarthy.
Soccer guy, Swifty.
Yeah.
I have varied interests.
Of course. Garbage from Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding has sold out after being listed for $25 each per bag. Matt McCarthy, are you in or out on buying garbage from Taylor Swift's wedding?
I'm in on selling it. I'm out on buying it. Man, if you figured out how to sell this to those animals, those freaks, my fellow Swifties, who will buy anything associated with her. By the way, how do we know this garbage is certified? You know, it's like you get like the official like...
Who's certifying the garbage?
Yeah, like MLB authenticated, yes, this is a game-worn jersey type of thing. Who's certifying the garbage?
It's a great question.
I don't know the first thing. So did it end up being Madison Square Garden? Is that
right?
Was it?
I believe so.
I don't know. I don't really follow her. I just enjoy the music, which really is the way to be. Yeah, I don't care.
Absolutely.
I do not care one bit about her. I mean, have I been to her place in Watch Hill? Yeah. Did I go there for her place? No. I was like, oh, that must be a nice spot. Let me check out Watch Hill. This is probably like 10 years ago. I'm like, oh, crap. This is a cute little town. Great spot. I can see why somebody would want to buy here. So, yeah, but no, very much out. Out on garbage. You know what? Out on garbage in general, Skaz.
I think that's safe.
Yeah, I think so, too.
All right. Matt McCarthy. Well, we already did Bryce Harper and his bats. Let's see. Are we in or out on a group led by Celtics minority owner Aditya Mattel and former Celtics governor Wyc Grousbeck being interested in buying the Seattle Seahawks?
Yeah, I'm in on it. Oh, good for Wyc. I want good things for Wyc. I would like Wyc to actually own something at some point. I think he's earned it because it turns out he did not own the Boston Celtics. So, I mean, how much is Wyc actually really in on this?
Yeah, is it his dad or is it Wyc? Whose money is he using here?
I will say, Wyc has it figured out. It's always better to use somebody else's money for anything. That's why the Celtics were so good for so long. Boy, you really do appreciate how wonderful it is to have an owner who doesn't know what is going on with the team, doesn't really care what's being spent, and then just kind of looks at the bill every 20 years and says, huh, what? That was a way better setup than Bill Chisholm buying the Celtics, but not really buying the Celtics, and now being beholden to all these private equity guys and these, I call them now the shadow owners. The shadow owners of the Boston Celtics. Yeah, I prefer the previous setup. So you know what? If I'm a Seahawks fan, I want Wyc rolling in because my guess is Wyc has found somebody else who's willing to let him use his money, and that's a great setup. Good for them. I hope that works, and really, I actually do hope good things for Wyc. In.
Sure, why not? Mountain Dew, our friends over at Mountain Dew Baja Blast have launched a limited edition bundle with Rawlings that include a collectible baseball and commemorative MLB can for $4.20. Every purchase also enters fans for a chance to win 2026 World Series tickets. Matt McCarthy, are we in or out on a Mountain Dew Rawlings team up and a special edition Mountain Dew baseball?
Out. You'd think I'd be in because it's baseball. I'm out. I really don't need special edition anything. I don't need to be marketed to. You know what? Now that I said that, that's totally false. Did I, as a grown man, a 35-year-old man, walking through Wegmans about a month ago, walk down the goldfish aisle and see the original 1996 starter Pokemon, Charmander, Squirtle, and Bulbasaur on goldfish bags? And did I then buy one of each bag? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. So I guess I probably should be in on this because it's a baseball thing, and maybe I'll walk down, the aisle in Wegmans as I'm going home today and see a baseball-style Mountain Dew and say, must buy, must have. Maybe I'll do that. I don't think I'll do that, so I'm probably out, but I might be deceptively in on this, guys, because I, too, can be sold a bill of goods, and I can be sold anything. If you just put a picture of something that I like on it, There you go. It'll speak to the 6-year-old in me.
Nostalgia's a hell of a drug.
It sure is.
A hell of a drug. We mentioned the T. Swift wedding. Charles Barkley making some headlines this week as he declined the invite to Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift's wedding, saying, and I quote Charles, "I don't go to weddings or funerals." Matt McCarthy, are you in or out on Charles Barkley's approach to big events, weddings and funerals?
Dude, tremendous. If I were Chuck, I think about I don't think about this because I'm not a celebrity, and in the end, I only have so many people in my life that I know. I don't get invited to events like weddings and funerals that I really don't want to go to. For somebody like Charles Barkley, how many times do you think he gets invited just because he's Charles Barkley? All the time. There's a man who probably has a legitimate reason to not go to any of that. Weddings. I'm only going to weddings and funerals of people that I truly know and I'm very close with. Other than that, you're getting invited to hey Chuck, you want to come to my wedding? You think Charles Barkley knows Travis Kelce and Taylor Swift, or is he just getting invited because he's Charles Barkley? I think that man totally has it figured out for his life. How many weddings do you think he gets invited to on a yearly basis?
I mean, minimum 300. Gotta be.
At least. I would think. I mean, 300 maybe is a little strong, but think about every person that Chuck has ever known. I don't know, a longtime producer of Inside the NBA, his kid's getting married. You think they're inviting Chuck? Hell yeah, they're inviting Chuck. You think Chuck wants to go to that wedding? No, he doesn't want to go to that wedding. How many weddings do you get invited to in a year, Skaz?
As I entered the early 30s, I would say it has steadily increased. But I'm, 32 now. It's starting to peter out a little bit.
I never really hit the wedding phase. People don't like me. I don't blame them. But yeah, I mean, I just went to a wedding this past weekend.
That's true.
It was all time. It's a great wedding. One of the best I've been to. Very, very special wedding. But again, if they kind of knew Charles Barkley, you think they would have kind of invited Charles Barkley? Probably.
Yeah, get a good gift, I'd imagine.
I didn't get them a gift.
Hold on. Your presence was a gift, McCarthy.
Hold on. Wait a minute. If it's your brother, do you have to get him a wedding gift?
I mean, I don't think so. You've spent a lifetime of,
If you're the co-best man, do you have to get somebody a wedding gift? What are the rules here? Because I definitely have a window here.
I feel like
where I can still get them something.
Yeah. Yes. Did you plan the bachelor party or anything?
No, that was the other best man.
You really skated on this.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, no, I mean, I was going to say, I got my family there. I was present and accounted for the bachelor party and the wedding, which, was I'm not empty money bags over here. I'm a weekend headlines guy. I'm just saying that did some damage a little bit. I don't know. Do I have to get you a wedding gift on top of it? Am I getting you a toaster or something?
No,
an air fryer?
I think you're good.
You think I'm good?
I think you're all set.
He was listening to the Derek Ray interview, so if you're still listening, text me.
Yeah, let me know.
Yeah, let me know.
I'm curious.
Do I owe you something? We have that type of relationship. Hey, did I F up by not getting you a wedding gift? Did you even notice I didn't get you a wedding gift?
Yeah, now the cat's out of the bag now.
Oh, no, it's very out of the bag. I've got 17 texts right now. You say something on these airwaves, guys. People, you cannot get away with it. Trust me. The amount of times I hear from people, it's like, Girlfriend's mom, she's like, yeah, heard you're a boobs guy.
There you go.
Yes. Yes, I am.
Nothing but honest. That's
very honest.
Yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And we preach honesty.
And as she said, that explains this situation. Okay, all right.
We're on the same page.
We're very much on the same page. Strong on the same page.
Strong to quite strong.
You learn a lot about people in this. You put yourself out there, and you can't get away with anything you say.
Oh, it's true. I mean, a lot of penis guillotine talk last night. Things happen.
We'll get to the penis guillotine. That conversation has not ended yet.
No.
Out. You know what? Out on the penis guillotine, I'd like to say.
Well, we'll get to that.
What else do we have?
McCarthy, our friends over at Netflix, you're going to like this one. Netflix has discussed adding live channels and streaming bundles to their homepage. Streaming bundles would included subscriptions to other services through the Netflix app. Live channels would include ones that constantly stream movies and TV shows from the same genre. Matt McCarthy, are you in or out on Netflix adding, wait for it, live channels to their subscription service?
I just have cable, man. I just have cable. And I don't want to think about it. And I just don't. I want to press the button and have it be there. I don't want to have to worry about, well, this streaming service has this channel. Now I got to go over to NESN 360 to get the Red Sox, but I got to go to HBO Max to get TNT for the NHL playoff game. Like, no. I just have cable. It's just the simplest way to do it. Out on this. Strong out on this. Just give me one place where I have a remote and I have everything at my disposal. When I was growing up, we called that cable. And still to this day, we call it cable. And it's just the easiest way to go about it. Out. Strong out. Out!
I had a feeling you weren't going to like that one. Just a hunch. Just a hunch. Matt McCarthy, today is National French Fry Day.
In.
What is Matt McCarthy's favorite fast food French fry?
What a great question.
I'm a simple man. Give me McDonald's.
McDonald's fries are
French
great.
Fry.
They have, but I love the variants of French fries. I almost never eat fast food, but I did have some Wendy's the other day, and those fries were delicious. I mean, are we considering like Five Guys fries in here as fast food? I would consider that kind of fast food.
Casual. You got to have a drive-through, I feel like, to be fast food.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's me being a stickler, but Five Guys, great fries. I'm not going to discredit them.
I mean, I guess the real answer is In-N-Out. Fries well done. Dip them in the milkshake. But yeah, McDonald's has to be right up there. I mean, it's like, don't overthink it. So I guess I'm on In and Out. I'll be damned, it's the name of the segment. So is there any other answer besides In and Out? I think not.
You can sit on the fence, I guess. Kind of goes against the spirit of the game, but you never know.
That's literally the name of the restaurant, Skaz. That feels like the spirit of the segment. I'm honoring the sanctity of the in or out. It is in, out.
A little overrated, in or out. In and out, whatever the hell it is.
It really is the fact that you can't get it here. That's the problem.
They hype it up too much, and then you expect... It's fine. It's good. But...
Yeah, but it's like, I'm in California, got to grab some In-N-Out, I get this once a year. All right, well, I'll take care of that. Nothing like, late night In-N-Out or in Vegas. Just walk to the In-N-Out. That's a good place to be at about. Oh, dude, they closed down. I was in Vegas for my brother's bachelor party for Super Bowl weekend. It's like 2 a.m. I was like, all right, it's time for In-N-Out. They close at 1:30. How is that possible? In-N-Out in Las Vegas closing at 1:30. That was the most offensive thing that's happened to me this year. Very mad. Still mad about it. Very upset. Is that it? We have anything else?
That will wrap up a Friday night edition of In or Out.
In-N-Out.
Sure.
Why not? 90 seconds, no commercials. We'll continue here. Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray. Hey, we've got Celtics Summer League action. Can't you wait to hear the score? Thank God there are no commercials, and you're going to hear the score right now. NBA Summer League action. I bet you they're going to In-N-Out after this. Headlines. Boom. Hit the thing.
From the Delaware Tiger Studios, this is Boston's home for sports. Touchdown! The flagship station of the Patriots, Bruins, the Celtics. WBCFM and HD Boston 98.5, the Sports Hub. Beasley Media Group station celebrating 65 years of broadcasting. Sports Hub headlines.
Well, everything's going great for the Celtics on the court post Jaylen Brown trade. They trail the Raptors 7-0 in Summer League action. Get excited. Hooray. Red Sox out to a 2-1 lead on the Mets as we head to the bottom of the fourth. This game was delayed because the Red Sox were delayed getting to New York from Chicago today. 2 RBI for Masataka Yoshida. An RBI, 2 RBI double for him with 2 outs off of Nolan McLean. Sonny Gray on the mound for Boston. He's through 3 1/3. 3 hits, 1 run allowed. Elsewhere, Cedon Rafaela added to the American League roster. He replaced Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani will skip the All-Star game. He has knee soreness. Wemby signing a 5-year, $252 million max contract extension. He did leave some money on the table, more than $50 million, by not going for the Supermax. And former Heat teammates Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero got into an altercation today in Las Vegas. Adebayo allegedly punching Hero in the head. Just gone to In-N-Out. They would have been happy. Headlines are brought to you by Safety Insurance, providing comprehensive coverage for your auto, home, and business. Ask your independent agent about safety. I'm Matt McCarthy. I'm Boston's home for sports. 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update in 30 minutes.
This is what happens when analysts take over the game, take over the sport.
This is where you talk sports.
It happens all the time.
The Sports Hub.
When's he coming back? Is this going to be a Joe-less experience for the next couple of weeks?
I think he's in next Tuesday, I believe. I think that switch was made. I don't know if it's on the schedule, but I believe that switch has happened. Next Tuesday.
I do see on the phone line, Ronnie.
Is that who that is?
That's what it says on my call screener. No, even picked up the phone yet.
No. Well, that wasn't me.
Yeah. I don't think we can let Ronnie on these airwaves anymore. I was Team Ronnie yesterday.
That backfired quickly.
It did. Well, I mean, when you call in and you do what you can't do, which is drop an F-bomb, knowing that you can't do that, but you do it anyway, can't make it happen. Also, too, really calling in under a fake name.
Yeah, that's the real crime.
That's a tremendous crime. You think I discriminate against callers on the night show?
Certainly not. No.
I mean,
not the place for that.
This is the night show experience. It's 9:00 on a Friday night. I'll take anything I can get, man. But I mean, you gotta really push the boundaries.
Celtics Summer League's not doing it for you.
Can't say it is. Hey, they're down 12-2.
You think B-Rob's out there? Was our friend B-Rob out there?
Oh, I bet you he is. We text B-Rob, do a wellness check on him. This
our buddy Greeny's there. I tried to, he's there. He's in the audience right now.
How is Greeny doing?
Yeah, he's Greeny. He's going to enjoy his time in Vegas. He's going to reset the batteries, watch some Chris Cernak. Maybe that'll rejuvenate Greeny.
I don't know if you can bring Greeny back to life when Greeny admitted defeat on the Jaylen Brown trade, saying even he couldn't defend it.
Broken man.
That's a broken man. I mean, Greeny has made a career.
He's Greeny.
Defending the undefensible.
Makes Lucky blush. I mean,
my God. And I love him. Trust me, as a man who fights Greeny on the internet all the time, but I love the man. He's shameless, but man, do I appreciate he's shameless.
Who do you think has longer text threads in their replies, Greeny or Dan Lifshatz?
Yeah, boy, they go at each other. That's a little much.
No. All good natured.
I think, I think it's good. I know when I fight Greeny, it's good natured.
Of course.
I mean, it's just, he tries to body bag me.
There's two guys that won't give up.
No, those are, I'll do like 3 or 4 tweets with Greeny, get them all riled up, get a whole bunch of mentions and activity, and then I just put my phone away.
That's the way to do it.
Really, it is the Molotov.
It's
it's the Molotov cocktail approach to you just fight Greeny on a couple of tweets and then you just walk away, and then you just come back and it's an absolute bloodbath. That definitely is the way to do it. But yeah, you can't kick the hornet's nest like Ronnie did to Joe Murray yesterday. I had really no concept that you could anger Joe so much. I was Team Ronnie. I think I thought Joe overreacted. And Ronnie called in last night, used a fake name, announced himself as Ronnie, dropped an F-bomb. It's like, dude, we can't be doing this. Can't be making that happen. Now, for folks who don't know, Skaz, do you happen to have the full Joe Murray and Ronnie exchange yesterday? You do. Sorry to put you on the spot on that, but yeah, I mean, I think I was, after all of this, I thought Joe overreacted. He did pull a bit of a Wilson Contreras, tried to track the man down, fight him. I'm not trying to fight Ronnie. I don't want to do that. But I mean, in the end, In the end, we have rules here and we have standards. And trust me when I say they're extraordinarily low, but you got to meet that extraordinarily low standard. So I got to put my foot down on behalf of Joe Murray. Now I'm Team Joe Murray, but I wasn't after this altercation yesterday.
I'm sorry, Ronnie.
No, we don't let him on our
I think
show
he was
anymore.
making a legitimate point, though. That always helps the ratings. It always does. It just does.
Yeah, I just want to
it
let
just
you know,
works.
we don't allow him on the show.
Why? What's the matter with Ronnie? Ronnie's got
Drops
takes.
an F-bomb every time and trolls us.
Well, that's kind of his thing. I don't know, Ronnie.
Why do I need to deal with that?
Wild card,
man. I mean, you got a dump button. It should be a running thing. Stream wins again. Way to go, Ronnie.
No, I think Ronnie sucks, and I think he's a bitch.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I think about you, Ronnie. You suck. You hide behind your phone and troll radio people and call them fat. I would put you in a body bag, bro.
He then went on to ask Ronnie what Walmart he was at.
That was my favorite part of the clip. But, yeah, a little cut off there at the end. I believe that was the work of the great Tom Morgan, who, usually is the one to get Joe that riled up on the midday show. But it was a caller this time.
See, I have no problem with callers trolling us.
No, in fact,
I love
it's
it.
part of the fun.
It's one of the best parts of the business. Like, in the end, I don't know if sometimes if people really understand, like, what we do here. Some people think we're serious about this. In the end, we're just busting balls. That is the whole purpose of our existence here. We're just here to bust balls.
I've never really watched the show, but it's kind of like that the Adam Scott show there, where like the second I walk out these doors, whatever happened the night before, I don't remember a thing.
Couldn't tell you.
Me and Joe will get in the elevator and be like, "What the hell did we just do for 4 hours?" And that's kind of the beauty of it.
I have no idea. I couldn't tell you what we did 2 hours ago on this show. Where did we open tonight? Did we open Red Sox?
Yeah, I think so.
Something
Who knows?
like that. So no, I love it when people troll us. That's good. But you can't drop an F-bomb every single time you're on the air. That's going to get you banned. Now, I'm not going to go to a Walmart to try to fight you.
No.
I'm not going to do that. But you just can't call in and drop an F-bomb every time. You can't do that. How many do you get? I've dropped one F-bomb on the air here in like 15 years at the station. If you're a caller who does it every night, you're just going to get cut out. I don't think that's unreasonable. Now, you call in, you troll me every single night, fine. Front of the line, baby. Just don't have an FCC violation. Don't make Skaz do more work than he has to. He's working by himself back there. He's running the YouTube. He's answering the phone calls. Don't be that guy. And Ronnie was that guy. Or whatever his alias was last night, because I guess, you know what, Joe is right. He was a bitch. You gotta just use your real name. This is not a serious endeavor here. That's for sure. How about Matt in Florida? We did establish the rule, Matt. You can say anything. There are a few words you can't say. Have at it, my friend.
Yeah, I'm down in Florida. It's awesome listening to you guys. Everybody down here thinks Tampa Bay is the radio station down here really stinks. I love listening to you guys. I've been listening to you guys all the time now.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate that. I will say you do travel around this country and you appreciate the quality of sports talk in Boston.
No, I gotta look out a little bit for my guys down there in Tampa. I can't imagine the sports radio scene is all that hot. I don't. What do you talk about? I mean, we doing lightning off season? What's the Rays making moves at the deadline? What's that? College football talk? I don't know.
What a horrible existence. What a horrible, horrible existence. Skaz, I'm going to do something I never do. I'm going to put a man on the air who has not been screened. Ronnie, is this you? Ronnie?
Hey, what's going on?
How you doing?
What's going on?
Nothing much. How you doing?
Let me in. I'm not going to swear, I promise.
Hey, Ronnie, you're on the air.
Oh, I'm on the air?
Hi. Yep. All right. Have a good night, Ronnie. Does that mean to me?
No, I don't think so. I felt fair.
Yeah. He said he wasn't going to swear. I was not going to give him the opportunity to swear. He was very demanding, though. Let me in.
Well, now you know what I deal with back here in McCarthy.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll continue. It's Matt McCarthy here on the Sports Hub.
You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5.
Boston's entered the chat, which has been a fun experience. I've been enjoying doing that. We got a little McCarthy TV action. Give the people definitely what they don't want, but that's all right. Joe's a busy man because tomorrow Joe's going to be up at the Brook Casino doing a food eating contest with Joey Chestnut. This is the greatest collaboration in the history of collaborations. This is, I don't know, like, there's some famous collaborations. I mean, this is like Simon and Garfunkel, famous collaborators. I don't know. I mean, you think about like musicians getting together, like super groups, the Traveling Wilburys, famous duets. Yeah, this is a powerhouse combo. Dream combo. Joe Murray and Joey Chestnut. What are they eating? Is it a Saugus wings?
I believe that is correct. I believe it is Saugus wings.
Well, you got Nine Dragons up there at the Brook Casino, which is a tremendous, tremendous spot. I've eaten there a couple of times. It's awesome. I don't get up to the Brook Casino that much, but when I do, I go to Nine Dragons.
Now, Joe Murray and James Stewart are hosting this event. I believe they're doing a radio show from there.
Yes.
You would have to think Joe Murray is participating in this competition, right?
I would think so.
He almost has to.
Yeah. I mean, is the competition at the same time as the show? I would think probably not.
That's a great question. I'll do a little digging here.
I've seen Joey Chestnut take on a Sports Hub employee in an eating contest. I watched him participate in a pie eating contest, a table talk pie eating contest at a Worcester Railers game against the king of Worcester himself, Tim McCone, Mr. Worcester. I watched McCone go toe-to-toe with Joey Chestnut. And when I say toe-to-toe, I mean like pinky toe to body. Because
talk about a disadvantage.
McCone got bodied, put in a body bag. I know he's a little bit worried about choking to death, which I suppose probably is a reasonable worry. And then McCone also, during a TV appearance during COVID, took part in a hot dog eating contest where he managed to eat 0 hot dogs.
There is only one, Tim McCone.
How do you manage to eat 0 hot dogs during
Impressive.
Well, he says it was because it was during COVID and he was trying to, put the hot dog down in a competitive eating style, and then he worried he was going to choke on it and there was going to be nobody in studio because of social distancing.
What a way to go.
To give him the Heimlich. You're right. What a way that would have been to go. So I have to imagine that Joe, who has eaten more than one Saugus wing in his lifetime.
Certainly.
And trust me when I say I don't like wings, and they are delightful. Oh, my God, are they tremendous. Pretty much the only types of wings I eat are Saugus wings.
So doing some research here, doors open at 4 for the competition. It says the eating contest begins at 5:30. Some listings suggest 7:30. Their show is from 2 to 5.
Okay.
So there is a window there after the show for Joe Murray to participate in said contest.
I mean, if there's anybody who can represent himself with Joey Chestnut on the other side of the table, it's going to be our very own Joe Murray. This is like a home field advantage, though. You think about it. I mean, Joey Chestnut is used to eating hot dogs. Now, he'll eat multiple. I mean, again, you bring him to a Worcester Railers game, he'll do a table talk pie.
Might be distracted by just how good the Saugus wings are.
Well, that's really, seriously, like, you're not tasting much of the food, right? I mean, if it's just straight down the gullet, that's past the taste buds. Joe's only chance is that Saugus wing kind of hits a taste bud, and that triggers something in Joey Chestnut where he says, I actually want to enjoy this. There must be nothing enjoyable about the eating experience, right, for Joey Chestnut?
No.
Outside of the gobs of money the man makes just to eat.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that the day of and probably the 24 hours after are certainly a sight for Joey Chestnut.
What is the price you would have to get to destroy again, run the risk of choking to death and then obviously destroy your belly in that regard? I mean, I'd do it for 3 figures.
Yeah, sure. Why not?
$120. Yeah. I'd give it a shot.
24-hour bug, basically. Yeah, I'll do it for a couple $100.
You think there's like a escape hatch kind of thing going on after?
I think there almost certainly has to be. An evacuation of sorts.
Yeah.
Now, I have received some insider info, and this I don't like. I'm not happy to report this,
okay.
But apparently there were some rumblings in this very room today that during a crossover maybe, that Joe Murray may not be participating in this competition because he's headed to the Cape and he's afraid of the Hershey Highway happening again. His word, well, not his words, but Joe may not participate because of a fear for a distance he has to travel afterwards. Which I would say, boo! You have to participate.
No, I would say good on Joe. Skaz, this is a Saturday. All right, later in the day on Saturday, but
yeah, come on.
Seabrook is not exactly around the corner from Dennisport, which is where I know Joe likes to spend his time. I don't know if he's specifically going to Dennisport this time, but Joe is a legend in the Dennisport area. I know there's a sandwich shop down there that has a Joe Murray sandwich, which, by the way, is the highest honor I think any of us could ever obtain in this country, to have a food item on a menu named after us. I could only dream of reaching such an honor. I mean, if the folks at Dagustinos would like to call and name their bologna and cheese sandwich after me, after 8-year-old Matt McCarthy, I would be honored. But yeah, Joe having, I presume, at least one menu item named after him in the greater Boston area. Maybe even more after, just hanging out at a food event. That's the goal. That's the dream right there. That's when you know you've made it. When I die someday, I hope in my obituary it says, Matt McCarthy, loving father, son, husband, you name it, also had a sandwich named after him. That's the American way. That's the American dream. Tom Brady has his statue Screw your statue. How many subs do you think Tom Brady has named after him? And do you think people are taking those subs off the menu right now? Based on what we believe we know about the Seahawks Super Bowl, let's get into this. 617-779-0985. Did Tom Brady betray us all and break our hearts? We'll do that next. McCarthy in for Joe.
Sports Hub headlines.
Red Sox trying to make it 7 in a row. They lead the Mets 2-1 after 5. Masataka Yoshida has driven in 2 tonight. Cedar Rafaela added to the American League All-Star roster. He'll replace Aaron Judge. Meanwhile, Shohei Ohtani will skip the All-Star game. He's dealing with knee soreness. Wemby has signed a 5-year, $252 million contract extension in San Antonio. And Bam Adebayo allegedly punched Tyler Hero today in Las Vegas. They got into a physical altercation, allegedly this morning, with NBA Summer League going on. And speaking of Summer League, the So, Tom Brady. Tom Brady. That was who Mike, I keep wanting to say McDaniel. No, Mike McDonald. The singer. Not Josh McDaniels, not Mike McDaniel in Miami. Mike McDonald, the coach who beat us last year. You would think I'd be able to remember that. Think Motown, baby. Motown. Saying he talked to somebody with a conflict of interest. It's Tom Brady. And, I've heard some belly aching about this in the last 24 hours. Patriots fans upset with the idea. One, upset with the suggestion that it would ever be Brady. No, Tom wouldn't do that to us. Never, never. Or two, upset with the idea that Brady would ever do this, if he did, in fact, do it. To which I say, get over it. Who cares? Do you really care if Tom Brady spoke with Mike McDonald ahead of the Super Bowl and offered him some advice, some whatever? Even if it's the Josh McDaniels offense wants to do this. Everybody in the NFL talks, right? Everybody. I mean, you hear, read the Seth Wickersham's piece on Sean Payton, talking about, getting, tips and tricks from Bill Belichick. Everybody in the league talks to one another. So what Brady did, if he did do it, certainly is not out of the ordinary. And in the end, who really cares? It didn't cost the Patriots the Super Bowl or anything. But I guess it's just the thought process that goes into it from Patriots fans. It's like, how dare he? How dare he betray us? He's a Patriot. Who cares? Who cares? Tom Brady doesn't owe the New England Patriots anything. You know why? The New England Patriots shipped Tom Brady out the door. So if he still owes, holds that against the Pats, I don't blame him. You might say, all right, get over it. Yeah. You want him to then turn around and help them out? What, because he played here for 20 years? Because he became the greatest player in the history of football in a Patriots uniform? Yeah, where is that loyalty from them when they picked Bill Belichick over him? Where is that loyalty when they wouldn't give him the Drew Brees contract? They wouldn't give him 2 years and $50 million bucks. They tried to nickel and dime Tom Brady. Come on. I got no problems if he did it. None whatsoever. And my problem is really with Patriots fans who just kind of can't get past that Brady doesn't love us. So what? So what if he doesn't love us back? He doesn't have to love us back. What did John Updike say? Gods do not answer letters. Tom Brady's not going to answer your love letter. He's not going to. And the sooner you accept it, the happier you're going to be. Because if you think that this is the last slight, it's not going to be. He came back for his statue. He came back for his number retirement. Think he's coming back for much else? No way. He's done with us, and I don't blame him for being done with us, done with the city. Place where the guy probably can't breathe. Certainly have no problem with him being done with the Patriots. They were done with him first. So if he still has bad blood, holds a grudge, is petty about it, would you be surprised? Tom Brady, who was fueled by slights and grudges and anybody who disrespected him in any way, they gave him one of the greatest disrespects of his career. They picked Belichick over him. They wouldn't pay him. The greatest player in the history of the league, they would not pay him. And they got it wrong. They got it dead wrong. So I don't fault Tom Brady for this one bit. And if he did speak to the Seahawks, whatever. Didn't make that much of a difference anyway. I mean, what advice is he giving them? Like, hey guys, by the way, Drake May hasn't played all that well and probably isn't cut out for the moment. I mean, is that advice? Oh, well, Josh likes, going to this count on 2. Whatever, man. Everybody in the NFL knows all about this stuff. I think Brady made the difference. He certainly did not. And If he did talk to them, it is what it is. I'm not going to lose sleep about it, and you won't either. Should we feel badly about this, Gaz? As a fan, should we feel lesser than? Should we feel slighted? Should we feel hurt that Tom Brady doesn't love us anymore?
No, I don't care. I think it's kind of funny, actually, that he still caters this much. I thought it was, maybe an active play or something, but it almost has to be Brady. It feels like, I know we talked about this a couple days ago, and we mentioned the Kubiak thing, and then I think Bert was on this morning and kind of reiterated the same points that Brady was hiring a coach with the Seahawks that week. So, yeah, I think it very well could have been Tommy. I'll give you a couple state secrets. Let me hire your coach, a little pat on the back, So do I think it impacted the game one iota? No. The Patriots stunk in that game, and Drake May stunk the entire playoff run. So that should be a bigger talking point than whether or not Tom Brady talked to Mr. McDonald there.
It's nice to hear somebody say that, by the way. Anytime I say that Drake May sucked in the playoffs, people get very defensive and very upset, including most people on these airwaves.
Yeah.
You would think us, some of us who have made a living trying to anger you. You say it anywhere, people get very upset. They get their backs up. They get very defensive about it. Like, did my eyes deceive me?
The bar for Drake May next year is MVP and a Super Bowl. Anything less than that is a step backwards.
I don't even know if I go that far.
That's where I'm at.
Okay. I'll be honest, and I'm harder on Drake May than most people in this town.
Joe Murray has kind of pigeonholed me into that take.
Committed.
Because he says Drake May will be better this year than he was last year. And for me, that means he wins the MVP and wins a Super Bowl.
I mean, I think the bar is so low in the playoffs, even just, looking okay in the playoffs will be a step in the right direction for him. Because it was that bad.
People really, for all the criticisms the Jays have taken over the years and, playoff performers in this town in general, really just kind of gloss over that because they made it to the Super Bowl. I guess I remember when that was not an accomplishment, just getting there.
I keep hearing it. I mean, midday show, you walk in there. I mean, McCone, Morgan, oh my God, they get very, very upset. Very, very defensive. When you mentioned he just wasn't very good in the playoffs. Well, he was hurt. Yeah, he got hurt in the third quarter in Denver. Does that explain the first two games? First 2.5? Well, he wasn't that bad against the Chargers. He wasn't good. I know that. Well, I mean, it was raining and snowing against the Texans. Well, let me know when they build a retractable roof on the stadium. We play in the elements here. I thought that was one thing about Tom Brady that we really liked, that he played in the elements really well. A little snow didn't bother him. A little rain didn't bother him. Some of his best performances were in the snow and the rain. But yeah, we're dead to him. And it is what it is, and I don't care about that. I mean, we gave him a statue, which he doesn't care about. We retired his number, which he doesn't care about. A man who has 7 Super Bowl trophies, including one not here after we chased him out of town. Not we, the Patriots. Bill Belichick, Tom Brady. Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft chased him out of town. Yeah, I'm sure he doesn't care about it. There may be one way, though, to get Tom Brady back on our side of things, maybe to smooth over this relationship. And that is to name a sub after him at Dagustinos. That's what Pat in Wakefield wants to talk about. Hi, Pat. How you doing?
Hey, Matt. How you doing, man? Happy Friday. Thanks for taking my call.
Pat, whoops, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to drop you there, but your phone was not in great shape.
Is he underwater? Is he inside a water fountain? What was going on there?
I don't know.
Man, you had me going with that Brady take, though. I thought you were getting him back in town somehow, McCarthy. I thought you were giving him a piece of the team, ownership or something. I was wondering where you were going.
No, give him a piece of Dagustinos. That's even better.
They do like an avocado on toast over there or something.
Exactly. When we get Pat, we'll get Pat back on the air. I didn't mean to drop him. I just meant to put him on hold. That's not. I don't know. I don't know what the hell's going on with the service in Wakefield. That's a north of town problem. I don't know what to tell you. North Shore people. The hell's the matter with you all up there? 617-779-0995. I mean, that is where Dagustinos is. So, I mean, I shouldn't say the North Shore entirely sucks. We'll continue. Hey, you want to muse, Skaz? Well, should I be your muse?
Always, McCarthy. Always, especially on a Friday night in the summer. Are you kidding me?
Let's do it next. Murray's musings, McCarthy's musings, Skaz's musings. Anybody can muse, and we'll do that next.
Don't go anywhere. There's more Joe Murray. More Joe Murray on
random take. Murray's got all sorts of stuff in the world unrelated to sports. So sit back, relax, and get your mind in the game and listen to the words of a grown man complaining.
All right, it's Murray's musings. Skaz, you ever discover anything in your backyard or be reminded of something in your backyard and you say, I never really think about that?
Do you mean like my actual backyard or something like in my area?
In your general area, in the general Boston area.
I would say yes, as someone who moved to, a newish area to me within the last, year, 6 months. I would say, yeah, I've kind of stumbled upon a couple of areas like that where I'm like, oh, I didn't know this was over here.
Did you know that Helen Keller lived in Rentham?
No, I didn't. I don't think I knew that. That's pretty close to me.
Rentham's second most famous resident after, of course, Scott Zolak. No, this my friend Kaylee mentioned this to me today. She's like, hey, did you know? Like, yeah, I think I did know that. And then she said, she was starting to gaslight herself and thinking it wasn't true. So she called me to ask me if I knew that. I said, but yeah, I was aware of it. I don't know much about the backstory of it. And then she brought this to my attention. She said, some people think she was faking it.
Yeah.
Do you think she was faking it?
Well, McCarthy, I mean, it's a slippery slope to go down. Have you ever seen her signature before? Her autograph, her John Hancock. Surprisingly good. I'll tell you that, McCarthy. It's a pretty good one. Yeah, it's
better than mine.
It's pretty good.
Yeah. Pretty solid.
I mean, talk about pulling off a ruse, though. I mean,
which brings us into the conspiracy theory. Like the people who say, Stevie Wonder isn't blind kind of thing.
I'm kind of in on that one as well. Yeah. I saw him catch that microphone Paul McCartney knocked over one time. I've seen the Shaq saying he saw him in the elevator and he knew it was Shaq. I don't know. A couple stories there.
So you kind of buy in on the blind conspiracies.
Well, literally the blind conspiracies. But Helen Keller and Stevie Wonder kind of in on. Most conspiracies out. Like, we went to the moon, people. Let's not be crazy here.
You sure about that?
I'm pretty sure, yeah. That one I'm fairly confident in.
We're going to go back there. So they say. They sent that Artemis mission.
We took pictures of its ass recently, I
we
believe.
did, the moon's ass.
Yeah, well, apparently that was really hard to see.
Nice ass?
I think so.
I mean, honestly, if you think about it, the moon probably has a large ass with like dimples and everything.
Craters. Would you like Rentham's famous residence list?
Sure, why not?
Number 1, Helen Keller.
I'd put her number 2 after Zoe.
Number 2, it said the WWE superstar John Cena once owned a home on Lake Archer.
Okay.
Scott Brown.
Yes, senator for a day.
Horace Mann.
A big-time educator back in the day.
Local media figures Dale Arnold and Scott Zolak also on the list.
I didn't know Dale lived in Rentham.
According to a summary of Rentham's famous residents, him and Zoe round out the list.
I feel like Rentham should have more famous people than that, to be totally honest. It's a nice town. Rentham is a nice town.
Aaron Hernandez lived there, didn't he?
No, that was North Attleboro.
Oh, my apologies.
No. You trying to drop that on Rentham?
Property value,
Yeah, actually driven by his house. It's interesting. The first time I drove, by the neighborhood North Attleboro, I said, I bet you that's where he lived. Kind of, it's a little out of nowhere. You're like, oh, yep, that has to be it. Yeah. What do you got tonight, Skaz? Anything?
McCarthy, on a Friday in the summer, I was looking for something to muse about tonight. I don't know if it's Apple TV makes me feel like too much of an old to complain about. The Red Sox continue to win. We're up 4-1 right now. I'm kind of angry at them for doing this to us yet again, winning 10 games in a row or whatever it is before the wild card, which I had kind of forgotten that they do this every single year. But you and Maz have reminded me this week that they do this to us every single year. And I haven't fallen for it yet, but you sweep the Mets. I don't know. Yoshida lines another one into the outfield. They're starting to hit. I don't know, McCarthy.
Wait until they come back home.
Yeah,
that's the dividing line. That 10-game homestand out of the All-Star break, where they have struggled in recent years, instead of going into the All-Star break, where they've essentially been the best team in baseball going into the All-Star break. They've now done this 3 years in a row. And the previous 2 years, they've really struggled coming out of it. And again, what does that have to do with? Is that just a fluke? Maybe. But it also just has to do with the fact that in baseball, you go through ups and downs, and teams sometimes take their foot off the gas before the All-Star break, and the Red Sox have essentially a new team right now with guys with something to prove. I think the timing works better. But Anthony Siegler homering tonight. But this is it's Murray's musings. That's a sports team.
You're right. I do have a musing for you, and it is somewhat sports related. But there's a gentleman fighting tomorrow who, at one time when he fought, it felt like everyone was talking about it, or at least it was in the news. People cared. Conor McGregor is fighting Max Holloway, I believe it is, tomorrow.
Okay.
No one cares. I'm done with Conor McGregor. I'm kind of done with the UFC. Matt McCarthy, are you in or out on... did you even know Conor McGregor was fighting tomorrow?
I did, because I did a show with Joe, and this was his opening take earlier today. He had a take on Conor McGregor and said his career is going to be over. And my thought was, his career wasn't already over already?
That's kind of what I thought.
Once you do the grift pay-per-view against Floyd Mayweather, which I paid for and regretted instantly, once you do like that type of grift fight, your career's over. That was what, like 6-7 years ago at this point?
Yeah, you can't be, once you do one of those, or you're fighting Tyson or the Paul brothers, it's over.
Yeah. So I'm out on that. Out on that. Pat in Wakefield with something to muse on. Hello, Patrick.
Hey, can you guys hear me now?
I got you loud and clear, my friend.
Perfect. Yeah, sorry about that earlier. I just wanted to bring up your comment earlier about the sandwiches bit. I used to work at Dagustinos a few years back in college, and there may be a way to get a sub named after you, so you're actually in luck.
Whoa.
I just wanted to see, what you said bologna and cheese earlier, but if you could be more specific, then your odds of getting a sandwich named after you are increased. And I can explain why, but I just want to hear your order first.
No, please do. Now, again, Pat, when I was, 6 years old and I would go in with my grandparents every Saturday on the weekend and, Ralph, who owned the place would always get me my, my bologna and cheese. I mean, I think that would be fitting to name after 6-year-old Matt McCarthy. My new order now would be more of like a seafood salad or like a tuna fish kind of approach. But it sounds like you got some pull there, Pat.
I used to work at the Arlington store. I should have cleared that up first.
You know what? That's okay. I used to go into the Arlington store all the time, too.
Yeah. And I saw a few of the Winchester guys there, but still, it's a great store. But
the best.
When I was at the Arlington store, a few of the guys there, I might get in trouble for spilling the beans over the air, but a few of the guys created a secret menu where it's exactly like you said. It's just got like a special sandwich named after one of the employees there, and it's a very specific kind of order. And it's not available to the public, but I'm going over next Saturday to say hello to my old coworkers, and I could pull some strings over there, and I could see your name on the secret menu at the end of the week.
This is the greatest honor of my life, Pat. Are you kidding me? The 6-year-old version of myself. I mean, to have a sandwich, I didn't even know there was a secret menu. I mean, that is just... Now we should.
It's not so secret anymore now, I guess, Matt. But yeah. So, what's your specific order? Like, it's more than just bologna and cheese, right? Like, what toppings do you put on that?
Oh, dude. I mean, at this point, I would have to think about this. This is a lot of pressure. I mean, I would normally go like at this point, like a seafood salad, a little lettuce, tomato. But if I'm gonna have a sandwich named after me, I got to come up with a creation. So, Pat, here's what I'm gonna do. You DM me on Twitter or something, find me on Instagram, whatever it is. I will think about my sandwich, and I will get it to you. All right?
What's your Instagram? I don't really use it that much, so I'll just write it down now and find it later.
I don't really use it either. At Matt McCarthy 98.5. So there you go.
All right, perfect. Thank you, man. Appreciate that.
Pat. Thank you.
Maybe the happiest I've ever seen Matt McCarthy. You're beaming.
You have no idea, man. Every Saturday morning, standing along that back wall with my grandparents, that was the thing. We would go get Dagustinos subs, and they'd watch Candlepins for Cash. That was Saturday morning at my grandparents' place.
A Pete Weber household, or probably before Pete's time.
Oh no, that's before Pete, and this is the local circuit. I mean, that's not.
Of course, my apologies.
That's not the PBA, my friend.
Yeah.
That's that's Candlepin. That's not 10-pin, my friend. That's Candlepin. I mean, it was probably on UPN 38, Candlepins for Cash.
Minor league bowling.
What could be more special than that? Minor league bowling, baby. Just sitting there crushing my bologna and cheese. A little 6-year-old that I was. That. Now, my brother's order was turkey and yellow mustard. That was it. So, I mean, that's the Eric right there. Put that on the secret menu. 90 seconds, no commercials. We have headlines here, is that right? Sure, why not? Let's do it. Let's get you caught up on what's going on with the Red Sox down in New York. They did arrive, and then we'll continue with whatever the hell you want. Couldn't you tell? Here on the Sports Hub.
From the Town Fair Times News. Dutcher and Hardy, Owen Beetle, Felger and Mass, the Bruins, the Celtics, the Pats, the Revolution. This is Boston's home for sports. WBC-FM at HD Boston. 98.5, the Sports Hub. A Beasley Media Group station. Sports Hub headlines.
A 2-run homer for Anthony Siegler. Red Sox out to a 4-1 lead on the Mets. This holds, they'll move to 4 games below 500. Sox, of course, got into New York late today after their flight was delayed. They started the game late, and they just continue to play good baseball right now. Sonny Gray, 6 innings of 1-run ball. He is done for the day. 6 innings, 5 hits, struck out 3, and just allowed 1 earned run. Elsewhere, Cedon Rafaela added to the American League All-Star roster. He will replace Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani will skip the All-Star game. General knee soreness there. Wemby signing a 5-year, $252 million contract extension. And Bam Adebayo punched Tyler Hero today. Yep, that's a reported story. Punched him in Las Vegas in the head area. Headlines are brought to you by... It sounds weird. The head area. I don't know why Shams used that. Just punched him in the head, in the face, whatever you want to call it. It's not The head area could be many things. We're after 10 o'clock. We do have an update on last night's story that we need to get to. We'll get to that at some point here. Headlines are brought to you by DN Van Lines. Take the chance out of your move and make the sure bet with DN Van Lines, an approved mover of the Department of Defense, dnvanlines.com. I'm Matt McCarthy on Boston Home for Sports, 98.5 The Sports Hub. Your next update, 30 minutes.
Are you actually coaching the game, or it's just that is? I feel so strongly about that. I can't even tell you.
Boston Talk Sports here.
What do we got?
Sports.
Shame, McCarthy. Shame. The Raptors lead 39-33. You need anything else on that, Skaz? You good?
I think I'm all set.
Need a breakdown? How's Hugo doing? I mean, they wouldn't trade him for Giannis, so I mean, he should be Summer League MVP, right?
You don't actually believe that, do you?
I do.
They were never getting Giannis. Sorry, Celtics fans.
I do believe it.
He was never coming to Boston over Miami.
I do believe
it's a nice pipe dream for Celtics fans, but Giannis was not picking Boston and over Pat Riley and South Beach, and also no state taxes down there.
Do I also believe that the Celtics would overrate one of their role players and not include him in a trade? I do believe that.
Yeah.
All of this is believable. Skaz, as a general rule, I believe everything. Because I'm a dunce. There's very little doubt about that. Hey, John's in the car. What's up, John? How you doing, man?
I feel like I should wait for the update from last night's story in the garage.
Well, actually, John, I don't know if there's an update, but I do want to carry the conversation forward. So, you can call back later on if you want to, add something to the conversation of the man who cut his own penis off last night. Yeah.
Well, no, I think my guillotine was perfect. I just thought there was updates that we may have to augment our theories before going to actually trademark the item, I guess. But if nothing new has happened, then that's fine.
Yes.
I wanted to tell you, Matt, that I am in the process of getting my own sandwich at Dagustinos.
What?
Now I'm still a never was beer league goaltender, and I'm always at Sports Etc. next door.
Yep.
Checking out the next best blocker to keep my hands safe. And I always run into Dagustinos and see Sammy, and if I buy 100 of my sandwich, it's going up on the wall.
Oh my God.
And that's what I'm trying to do.
Dude,
so
tremendous.
John,
I will come support you in your endeavor to buy that sandwich. What is your sandwich going to be?
My sandwich is a meatball parm with a chicken cutlet cut in the middle, and it's called the John in the Car.
Oh, John.
So
that's
perfection. That's my reason for living right now is a 12-inch hoagie roll with meat and poultry and dairy. So we all got something to strive for, Matt, and that's me. So with a little luck, one day you'll see my name up there in lights, and maybe I can sponsor the show one day.
John, I'm rooting for you, and just know that congratulations. I'm so happy for you that you are.
I'm about halfway there. How pathetic is this? It's going to cost me $40,000 for this sandwich by the time it's over.
But you know what? That's a legacy.
Matt, it's why I'm always in the car. I can't afford a house.
I'll see you, John. Take care. I knew John was a huge Red Sox guy. I didn't know he was a huge Dagustinos guy. How could you not be? How could you not be? I feel like John should be upset that he's having to buy all these sandwiches. Meanwhile, I roll in there when I'm 6 years old with my grandparents every Saturday, and somebody calls up and says, "McCarthy, we can get your sandwich on the secret menu." I'm not looking for special treatment here. John deserves it way more than me. What, just because it's a core childhood memory of mine? Was I paying for those sandwiches? No.
He's already got his planned out too.
I don't have mine planned out. I mean, I'm stunned by this. It would be the greatest honor of my life. No, hold on, wait a minute. If I'm going on the secret menu, that's great, but I can't then, people won't walk in there and be like, "That's the McCarthy?" No, because it's on the secret menu, which is apparently now not so secret because we're talking about it on these airwaves. Skaz, as we talked about earlier on tonight, anything I say on these airwaves, people start texting me about, there are no secrets here. So I guess we spoiled that. So good luck to me getting my name on the real menu after I've now teamed up with Pat and Wakefield on just unveiling the great secret menu. Now, I don't know. I mean, is this at both locations? Is it just at one? I'm not sure. We're gonna get to the bottom of this, but that is the pinnacle. I will go to my grave arguing that it is the pinnacle of American life to have a sandwich or a menu item named after you. I've always wanted it, but Pat put me on the spot. I don't know what it would be. That's a lot of pressure, man. It's a lot of pressure. Because, like, it's got to be a unique creation. It can't just be like here's your, like, seafood salad. Like, okay, that's just a seafood salad. You got to get that thing topped with all kinds of stuff. I don't know. And, I mean, are we going more lunch meat kind of thing here? Are we going like warm, get some meatballs? Like, what are we talking about here? I don't know if I can handle it, to be totally honest. Way too much pressure. JP in North Providence. JP, you have a sandwich named after you anywhere?
No, Matt, but, Cumberland Farms, bologna and cheese, sneaky good, and I think you're wrong. You go bologna and cheese. It's classic. It's American. And, Matt, in honor of 6-year-old Matt McCarthy, I have a song for you.
Yeah?
My bologna has a first name. It's Oscar. My bologna has a second name. It's Mayer. And if I eat it, what you say, Oscar Mayer has a way with Bologna.
How about
great memories.
How about Marcelo Meyer? That guy's a baloney, isn't he?
Yeah, he's soft. He'd be a fluffernutter. Give me a break.
Do love a good fluffernutter. As a kid, I never liked fluffernutters. As an adult, totally got into them.
Not a marshmallow guy.
I didn't like them as a kid either, but no, like as Skaz, when I first got COVID, in the height of COVID, I didn't have much food in the house. I wasn't planning on, being isolated from society.
How could you be?
So I'm looking through my cabinets. I'm like, what the hell am I going to eat for the next 5 days? I definitely didn't buy it. Somebody else had purchased a tub of marshmallow fluff. I said, I wonder what this is like. And I had a little scoop of marshmallow fluff. I was like, actually, that's pretty good standalone. Then I said, I could really go for a s'more right now. But I didn't have a s'more, and I'm certainly not going to light a fire. Certainly not going to cut off my own penis and light a fire like our friend last night. Get to him in a second. But I found some graham crackers in the house, and I said, what if I just dipped this graham cracker in this fluff? Oh my God. It was amazing. What a great snack. Just graham cracker dipped in fluff. And that's what I ate pretty much for 5 days. A giant tub of fluff and graham crackers. And then I ran out of graham crackers and I just started eating fluff. Just straight out. Just scooping it out. By the end of the isolation, I was not, I was talking to my Christmas tree and all that stuff. It was an ugly, ugly scene. But that jar of fluff in my 12-foot Christmas tree got me through it. Just sitting there eating the fluff, talking to the Christmas tree. Oh, this is a really sad Christmas, isn't it? I'm alone. I got COVID. Yep. What a time. What a time. 617-779-0985. Skaz, I have an important follow-up on our conversation last night on the man who cut off his own genitalia and burned it.
That would be Peden's penis you're talking about.
Yes, Christopher Peden cut off his penis. An important follow-up question that dawned on me this morning, because obviously it's the one story I've been thinking about for the last 24 hours.
Naturally, of course. How could you be thinking of anything else?
A follow-up question next on that.
You're listening to Joe. You're listening to Joe Murray on 98.5. You're listening to Joe Murray.
You heard of disturbing story about a man who cut off his own genitalia and then burned it. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. I mean, do I need to say anything more than that? It's what he did. And like anybody, I've been thinking about that for 24 hours straight. How could you not? So my question to you is this, Gaz. If you had to cut off one part of your body, what would it be? Because I determined very quickly in thinking about this question, that would not be the part I would cut off.
No, not at this stage of my life. Too young for that. Maybe down the line, though, you could convince me, I think. A certain age.
In the words of the great Jim Murray, retire it to the rafters. Raise it to the rafters.
Give it a proper ceremony, and maybe a Viking funeral of sorts. Send it out on a boat or something. If I had to cut off a body part.
And by the way, fingers and toes don't count.
Yeah, because that's too easy.
Easy.
Right?
The pinky toe, like, boom, see you later. I don't need that. We're talking like real body part.
That's a good question.
Ears, nose, I would say count. Like anything that, like, we're going to call this the Van Gogh standard. If Van Gogh would have cut it off, this counts. Yeah.
You're kind of limiting my options here. I'm trying to think. I mean, an ear feels like you're kind of forcing me into that.
I'd go left hand.
I need that thing.
I'm going non-dominant hand. I'd prefer to keep my ears. Very important for my business. What if I go deaf in one ear? I need the other one. Nose, I don't know, that would look weird. I don't think I'd want to look like Lord Voldemort. Yeah. I think I got to go left hand. Luke Skywalker, he was fine. He didn't need it. Not going foot. Imbalance, that would not be great. Not going leg, not going arm. Hand. I think hand's honestly the easy answer. You can get by with one hand, right? Kind of be annoying, but you can get by without it. I think that's the answer. That's what I'm going with.
You really think you could lose a hand, McCarthy? You're that confident in your abilities with one hand?
Yeah. What do I need this one for?
Yeah, I don't know.
Save the other one for a special occasion.
All your emails, your texts.
Do talk to
any
text.
Athletic, golf. You're never going to be able to golf,
dude. Honestly, that'd be better for me. Just end it. Yeah, hand. I think it's obvious. You're going ear? You're Van Goghing yourself back there?
Yeah, sure. Why not? It's an act of love. Out of passion,
Yeah. Mike in Connecticut. Hi, Mike.
How you guys doing tonight?
What's up?
All right, so you got to hear me out on this one.
Okay.
So, as a guy, if you cut off, say you got small genitalias.
Sure.
If you cut it off, can you go bigger with a prosthetic? Is that an option there, or is that asking too much?
Now that's a good question, Mike. Now we're getting somewhere. Science these days, technological advances.
Sure.
A replacement member? Now, I don't think you're going to get quite the same fun, I would say, out of that replacement, but your partner certainly might, I would have to think.
Strong consideration. Maybe we need to call up John and ask him about that guillotine process. See if he's got that, patented at this point. Still think I'm going hand, though. I mean, a prosthetic hand, again, Luke Skywalker did it in 1980. He was fine.
He had some issues.
We had some daddy issues.
Certainly did. Maybe some sister issues as well.
Also, definitely some sister issues. Sister. I'm not going to do my Darth Vader. Nobody needs that. There's only one. When you think about it, what a career for James Earl Jones. Darth Vader, Mufasa, the guy in the Sandlot, Terrence Mann. Strong to quite strong. Nathan in Rhode Island. Hello, Nathan.
Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
How you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. I wanted to talk about some LeBron today, if that's cool.
Go for it.
fucking.
Well,
sorry.
you can't be saying that. That was unfortunate.
So close.
And he felt badly about it. He said sorry.
That was, one of the more regrettable swears maybe in the history of the sports hub. Usually they're not regrettable at all when we get them.
Honestly, respect. I don't think we ban him for that.
No.
Other people get banned because they keep saying it.
Honest mistake.
No.
Well, LeBron gets people worked up.
Yeah, listen, you can try again tomorrow. We have a one call a day rule. You can drive. Well, it's Saturday.
I won't be here, but you can try again tomorrow.
I will be.
2 to 5. Maybe you give the guys over at the Brook a call.
They'll happily take it. That big Saugus wing eating competition going on up at the Brook. We'll be here tomorrow 10 to 2, 11 to 2 with Big Jim. It's been a while since Jim and I have worked together. I'm looking forward to that. I have to ask him this question. Which part of your body would you cut off if you had to do it?
Yeah, I would like his thoughts on if a penis is good kindling or not. Yeah, I feel like he would have a strong take on that.
Jim strikes me as enjoys northern New England. Goes up on the lake, goes up to New Hampshire. His dad was a rugged, outdoorsy, motorcycle kind of guy. I think he would be the type to know as to whether your genitalia can make for good kindling. I don't think it would.
I did watch quite a bit of Man vs. Wild growing up. I don't remember Bear Grylls ever pulling out that tactic when he was stranded out there.
It is you kind of can't go back on that one.
No, that's a one-time. That's a one-time move right there.
No, again, a special occasion kind of move.
It's kind of like the Philly special. You're not using that twice in one game.
No,
see it coming.
not.
Yeah.
No, you're not breaking that out on Wild Card Weekend.
I do think the size of the member has to be taken into consideration here.
I do. Yeah, I'm going to guess that there was some disappointment going on with that. My girl did ask me. She's like, "Why do you think he did that?" I was like, "Well, because he was insane," and that is my basic answer. But I'm going to say there were some psychological issues going on there. My guess is he wasn't too happy with it, and what are you going to do about that? There's not much that can be done about that. I mean, he tried to take matters into his own hands, but maybe he should cut off his hand first, see how that went. And then if you feel good about it, you can then continue on to other body. I mean, I do feel like that's the gateway. That has to be the gateway body part. I mean, I think Van Gogh had it wrong on that.
McCarthy, there's a man on hold who may bring a counterpoint of something you said yourself earlier in the show.
Okay, well, am I contradicting myself, Scott in Northbridge?
Yes, sir, you are.
Why's that?
How can you call yourself a boob guy and then cut off one of your hands?
Oh, dude, great point, Scott. Great.
Check and make.
Tremendous.
I mean, leg prosthetics are better anyway, so just cut off your leg. You can't be a boob guy and lose a hand.
Scott, there's a man who's looking out for me. Thank you. Thank you, Scott. That man's my hero. I mean, sometimes it's like you need a friend to tell you, dude, you're going down a bad path here. You don't want to be doing that. We all need our friends who, talk us straight sometimes. We're like, listen, you know what you're doing right now? Stop. Do the exact opposite. Don't do that. You don't want to do that. We all need people like that. And Scott Northbridge, my God, what a hero. Thank you, Scott. See, once again, this goes to show that people listen, they take into account what you say, and they'll never let you forget anything you say on these airwaves, which is a better thing. It sounds like a worse thing than it actually is. No, you got people out there like Scott Northbridge who they're just looking out for you, man. They're looking out for you. Thank you.
You can't argue with that thought process.
No, you can't. No, you can't. 617-779-0985. Definitely going to get a text about this one too here, Skaz. That's, yeah. Well, let's end this segment. We did talk to Derek Ray earlier. He was tremendous. I'd like to revisit some of that conversation. We will do that next. It was just awesome. Good stuff from the legendary Derek Ray. Joined the program earlier tonight. A quick update here on the Sports Hub headlines, and we'll continue. It's McCarthy in for Joe.
Sports Hub headlines.
All right, Red Sox trying to make it 7 in a row. We head to the 9th in New York against the Met Sox, out to a 4-1 lead. Anthony Siegler, the big hit in this one, a 2-run blast. Masataka Yoshida is also driven in 2. Celtics Summer League. Hey, Celtics with a 57-54 lead because you definitely needed to know that. Cedon Rafaela has been added to the American League All-Star roster. He replaces Aaron Judge. Shohei Ohtani will skip the All-Star game. He has knee soreness. Spurs star Victor Wembanyama has agreed to a 5-year, $252 million max rookie scale contract extension. And Bam Adebayo Matt McCarthy in for Joe Murray. At the final games in the quarterfinal tomorrow, the World Cup. Skaz, am I wrong in thinking that Norway has a chance to upset England? I'm not going to predict it, but I do like it in regards to the betting market.
Yeah, and I think obviously they're kind of the darling right now. I think of the underdogs playing tomorrow, you would certainly think they would have a better chance than the Swiss taking on Argentina. No offense to the Swiss, but
offense to the Swiss.
Yeah,
they played
sure.
Qatar to a draw. They are nowhere near what they once were. And by the way, Zaka and Shaqiri, a few years ago, I mean, I really enjoyed those Swiss teams. This is not that Swiss team.
No, certainly not. I would say England should be the favorite. They are a much better team. They don't, whether you think Bellingham or, Holland or Kane is the best player on the pitch, I think, any argument is a good one. But Big Dan Burn was a key factor for the English side against Mexico. A guy who doesn't play a ton, a Newcastle guy, but he has had great success against Erling Haaland in his career in the Premier League. So I wonder, if I think, let me see, 8 games played, he has scored 1 goal.
Wow.
Against when Dan Burn is on the field.
I mean, Dan Burn's 6'8", isn't he?
He's a big boy.
He's
Big Dan Burn.
He's like their Chara.
So, he's not exactly, their best defenseman by any means, but you may see him as a late sub again. And I just think, I don't want to say I'm rooting for the English because the Holland thing is kind of taken over. He has more followers than Manchester City does now, which is kind of crazy. But I just think that England, it's better for us as the fans if England go on. I don't want to say it, but the story, the theater, England versus France or Argentina or something, give me that.
England France would be an unreal final. Here in America, 250 years later, all that stuff, England versus France. I mean, we kind of are a nation because those two nations fought a war on American soil, essentially. Not to take away from what the colonists did, but we needed a little bit of help with that. Glad we got it. And it would just be an absolute powerhouse. 2 true blue bloods, France with an opportunity to be one of the great teams, over the course of the last 3 World Cups ever. Go to 3 straight World Cup finals, win 2 of them. I mean, that's all-time stuff right there. In England, an opportunity to win for the first time in 60 years. That's the matchup that I'm rooting for. But really looking forward to that England-Norway game tomorrow.